Good morning. Good afternoon. If you're in the UK and Africa, good evening. Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network, the greatest network on YouTube. I want to give a shout out to everybody, all my viewers nationwide and international. Thank you for tuning into the Trigger Mike Show. Today is Thursday, March 2nd, 2023. We are already in March. Where is this year going by already? Wow. I want to thank y'all again for tuning in. Greetings and thanks. Thanks for patronizing this show. I know many of you are loyal Lapeef Network members. What I want you to do right now is hit that like button. Some of you are notorious for cheating and skipping and getting right to the content and wanting to hear all the great stuff we got. But you just skipped and didn't show your support and did not hit that like button. How dare you? So go back, tap on that like button for me if you will, and get those likes up right now, right now. Get those likes up. Excuse me one second. This is the grass man. They're trying to see if I need the grass cut. Not today, senor. Not today. All right. Where was I? All right. So make sure y'all hit that like button. Let me see if these likes went up. Let me see if they went up. Get those likes right up. Go ahead and hit that like button for me. If you have not, please subscribe to the Lapeef Network so you can see all the hot content we have. And also hit that bell for notifications. Hit those three dots. Hit that bell for all. It says all. You want all notifications from this network. Trust me. Not only are the shorts excellent and amazing and give you good content, if your attention span isn't that long, we got other shows that might tickle your fancy, topics that you might want to discuss and might even want to partake in on our panels. So make sure you subscribe to the Lapeef Network and join the Lapeef Network for the channel perks. All right. Also, what you can do is you can share this out. Hit that share button. Share this out to your news feed and all of your groups if you want people to partake in this discussion. If you want them, send them a message, say, get in this chat and let us know what you think, because we want to hear your thoughts on this discussion as well. Boy, this discussion while I was writing it was all over the place. I had so many notes. I had to cut this thing in half. It's so much to say. I know many of you have heard so much. Some of you that aren't married, you may have a common misunderstanding of what's going on this particular topic. I'm going to try to cover it as best I can. I had to cut it in half. This might even need a part two. All right. So, who I got in the chat this morning? Mr. Rich in the building early. Hack, what's going on? Anna, what's going on? MS Best and Jeffrey Woodland, how you doing? Marquise Keys, what's going on? Blessings to you. See through you, how you doing? Welcome. Vincent Williams, how you doing? Dane Rose, what's going on? Alonzo, what's going on? Leadership 22, what's up? What's up? Is that Jolie? Good morning. I'm not gonna say the name, but Mr. Burns, good morning. Advanced Perception, how you doing? Welcome. So the topic for today is the truth about 50-50. The topic for today is the truth about 50-50. Advanced Perception, what's up? Jay Marie, how you doing? Welcome. Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. Today's topic is the truth about 50-50. Like I said previously, this might need a part two. I have so many notes on this, and I want to kind of preface this right. What's going on, my man Israel? I need you to get on this on this as well. Give me your thoughts. I'm gonna say a lot of stuff that a lot of y'all disagree with, but trust me, my logic and research is sound. Okay, my logic and research on this topic is sound. So this is a trigger warning to many of you. A lot of you are comfortable living under common misconceptions. We're not going to live there today. We like to debunk myths on the Trigger Mike Show. That's what we like to do in this space. We like to talk about what's uncomfortable and what's real so you can start getting real results in life. All we talk about on YouTube and all of these spaces is what's ideal, right? Y'all living life like it's a reality show on television. But let's talk about what real people are doing, how real people get results. But I'll continue before I get on my soapbox. I'm about to dispel some common misconceptions about finances in relationships and marriage. What does 50-50 mean in a relationship or a marriage? It generally means, I guess the way people might understand it, that both of you are making equal contributions because both of you are working. If that's what you think, in fact, let's do that. What does 50-50 even mean? Let's start there. Chat, what does 50-50 even mean to you? Right off your head with no context. If somebody says, what does 50-50 mean? How would you answer it? For the man and the woman in a marriage or a relationship. Now, just to make it clear to you, we grown people here. I'm not talking about dating. Talk to a dating coach. I ain't talking about who should pay for dates and none of that silly stuff. We already went over that. Dating is a corrupt practice. Dating ruined everything. So I'm not even going to spend my time talking about that. These things are way more clear in a courting process. I told you, you can get a man, you can get to know a man just fine without any money involved. So I don't want to talk about that. The common understanding when it does come to not really dating, but things in general, is that men will make a gesture always at any point to cover reasonable expenses. And the way I decided to outline this is men usually cover need-based expenses. That's kind of where we feel comfortable. That's really where we feel proud. We need to cover things that are kind of outlined in the hierarchy of needs. Need-based expenses. Shelter, food, maybe some clothing, things like that, especially when children are involved. Men usually want to cover. We see our purpose as covering need-based expenses, or at least most of them. So, what is the traditional method? How did we get here and on this understanding of where we're at today? I told you there are people that do this extremely well. Their entire upbringing teaches them to understand what we have to explain out to the masses today. Many people wish and would have benefited from being a part of those groups. But even though you weren't, we have shows like the Trigger Mike Show. My man Israel, he's been married before. He'll give you the game. My man Mr. Rich has been married 35 years. He'll give you the game. Start talking to real people about how you get real results out of life and in your relationships and your marriage. So, what is the traditional method? Men were the sole providers for the family financially. That's the old, antiquated method because men were the ones traditionally working. Women have always worked in whatever capacity best suited their family. You see what I did there, right? Even though men were the ones financially contributing, women have always worked in a way that suited their family structure best. If you really want to be real about it, if you think stay-at-home motherhood can be viewed as work, let me know in the chat. If you're a woman who has seen what it takes to be a homemaker, who's seen a stay-at-home woman whose husband worked on a farm, and a woman taking care of 7 kids by herself and maintaining a home, helping a husband with his business. If you think that's work, Go ahead and let me know in the chat because I think that's work. Women have always worked in whatever capacity that was necessary to aid their husband or their man in provision of their family. Y'all got it twisted. We need to adapt our thinking. We need to adapt our understanding and update those things that we believe to the circumstances of today. Don't women work now? Uh-oh. Don't women work now? Too many modern women are destroying their chances at a future with a good man because of this 50-50 narrative. I had to put that there in. I had to put that in there early. Early. I need y'all to understand who I'm talking to because this narrative only affects one side. I'm going smack at you. I'm bringing out my DMV talk today. I'm going smack at you today. I'm talking to you. If you got that flutter, that little heart flutter, like, is he talking to me? Yes, I'm talking to you. This only affects one side. I don't want to see it affect you anymore. We're going to do our best to dispel these myths. The chat, Trigger Mike, and the panel, we're going to do our best to dispel these myths and let you know how real people live and succeed. Too many women are destroying their chances at a future with a good man because of this narrative right here. I want you to understand that life is a race. It is a race against your peers. It's not only a competition for resources, but the competition itself is supposed to keep you sharp and focused on your purpose. Life is a race. Many of you are in the back. The accomplishments of others is supposed to motivate you to achieve your goals. And in any competition, let me let you know where I'm going with this. And in any competition that involves a team, the best team wins. That's the way it goes down. The only way someone else can win is if the best team themselves hurt themselves. But the best team always wins. That's the way competition works. Humble yourself, build the life you want, and team up. Squad up. Y'all sitting here talking about 50-50. People been put their teams together 10 years ago. Y'all still arguing on both sides about where the money should come from. And where this divvied up gonna go? Who's gonna pay for this? While people, your peers, are lapping you. They got married. They teamed up. They got it together years ago. And they're running circles around your ass now. You ain't got no squad talking about you don't want to be in a 50-50 relationship. But you only got a squad yet. You don't even have the other 50. There's so much confusion around the way finances are supposed to work in a relationship or a marriage. This misunderstanding and lack of knowledge has led to a false sense of entitlement on behalf of women and men not wanting to engage in the relationship at all. Because you don't understand the way finances work, and because you out in public talking all this BS about what a man should have and what a man should do, they don't even want to engage with your ass in the first place. You have a false sense of entitlement for things you don't even qualify for. Modern women must begin to understand the way relationships work in modern society. And I believe this is a common misconception we have to address. As I often say, in the Black community specifically, no one, not one person, should talk about staying home. Unless you are an NBA player's wife. And that's what he's asking you to do. You're an NFL player's wife. You're a rich CEO's wife. Ain't nobody. And those women are still working. They're just working for their husbands. Can I get an amen? Jesus. They still working. Let me tell you something. Black women have always worked. Black women have always worked in some way, shape, or form, in some way and at some point in their marriage or relationship. Look it up. This is not mine. This is all facts. Go look at what these women were doing during the average day when their husband was at work away somewhere, on a farm somewhere, in a mill or a factory. Look at what the women were doing. They were working. Y'all are advocating for sitting on your ass and wonder why we don't want that type of relationship or marriage. Get your ass up. Black women have always worked. Tired of this narrative, man. The audacity. Because listen, even writing this part, I got a little upset. And it's not because I'm trying to hurt you with words. It's not. It's because I need you to understand that we need each other. And looking at relationships and how much I want individual, like what I want for black women, individual black women. What I want for you is to see you married and to think that the work that we have to do and how screwed up the mindset is. The audacity of women that went to school and ran up debt to then get married and say they don't want to work is the most unattractive proposal in the history of life. What the hell you got a degree for? That is unattractive. I'm sorry. Somebody has to say it. I'm not out here trying to make myself look better than other men, telling you I can provide you a life where you sit down. I ain't that dude. You came to the wrong show. The audacity of you to go to school and then throw it in my face, throw it in men's face that you went to school and you have all these skills, then to advocate that you should sit your ass down. What the hell is wrong with you? Get your ass out here and work. The black community is on life support. Get your ass up and work. Talking about something you want to stay home, but you went and ran up 60K, 100K, 120K in debt for an underwater basket weaving degree. Get the hell out of my face. Get your ass up and work. Your sense of entitlement is not sexy. And you don't have to take my word for it. Don't y'all believe it is no coincidence that the women who owe the most money in student loan debt are the most unmarried women in the world? I can prove everything I say. The women that owe the most in student loan debt are the most unmarried women in the world. Go look it up. These are all statistics you can find yourself. It is also no coincidence that the least married women in the U.S. are the ones that think a man should pay for everything. If you believe what I just said, put a 1 in the chat. The least married woman in the U.S. are the women that think a man should pay for everything. You hear these narratives out here. No man is going to sign up for that shit while he out here watching Ahmed and his wife hustle together. She's like a soldier standing awaiting instructions from a chief. What you need from me? What can I do? What do you need? Let's make this work. Let's hustle. But you want a man to supply everything for your ass while you're nothing but a liability to him because you have school debt. I don't think so. I want to say this first because this topic is actually where I have a fundamental disagreement with the late Kevin Samuels. May he rest in peace. Kevin Samuels used to say that a woman's money should be no good with you. I believe that once you become a high value man, that could absolutely be the case. Like I said, men want to supply need based expenses. And once we get the bag, we will start supplying wants too. We even do that when we don't even really have money. When a woman is valuable, we want to give her things out of the kindness of our heart. But he said a woman's money should be no good with you. But let me make the case for what I'm saying. Less than 1% of men are actually high value at the first age of marriage, at the age of first marriage. I mean, at the age of first marriage, less than 1% of men are high value. So 99% of men at the age of first marriage are average or below average. How the hell can that apply to average men? It cannot. I was a huge consumer of his content. Kevin Samuels, I'm referring to. I consumed so much of that man's content. But the one thing I could always easily draw when he was talking about, I could draw this from what he was saying. It was a clear distinction between our generation gaps. Clear distinction between our generation gaps. If I'm not mistaken, he was a member of Generation X. He is from the last generation that had factory workers and all that, where the man's salary could finance the whole family. That's the last generation where that was possible. In addition to that, education was cheaper, food was cheaper, gas was cheaper, and the women that were marriage eligible were willing to live under what the average man could provide. Important note: average women did not have lofty expectations in Generation X. They knew average man, average circumstances until. I didn't say you couldn't win. I didn't say you couldn't become somebody. Average man, average circumstances, dot, 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 until. That's where y'all got it messed up. Do y'all need more proof on this topic? Do y'all need more proof? Many people are citing finances as their reason for divorce. But as we previously discussed, the average person doesn't divorce into financial prosperity. They divorce into financial ruin. So that means that if women are saying that they are divorcing these men at a rate of 70 to 80% and saying finances are the issue, even though they're going to divorce into financial ruin, that means these women are leaving because they had a misunderstanding about what they should be contributing to the relationship. If you agree with that discernment, put a 1 in the chat. How could you cite finances when leaving him would leave you worse off? Because you had a misunderstanding about what you should be contributing to the relationship. These are the women you need to stay away from. What women also want in society, I'm sorry, the truth about 50-50. This is why women don't want to really have this conversation. They want to keep it in their favor and put a mask over your face about what's really going on. Let's unveil that right now. As I said on another Lapeef show, make sure y'all follow the Lapeef Experience and watch The Solution on Mondays, Bridging the Gap with Kelly on Wednesdays, and the She Critique on Fridays. Just getting all that promo out of the way. Yeah. Big up to them. My ladies over there. But what women don't want you to know is that women want a man that can supplement their bad decision making. That's what this discussion is about. Women want a man that can supplement their bad decision making. What do you mean by that, Trigger Mike? The reason average women want a high earner is because they want to be able to make frivolous decisions that a man can just clean up easily. Did you hear what I said? They tricked you. They want to make frivolous decisions that you can just clean up with money. That's what this is about. Stop thinking, fellas. Fellas, stop thinking that a woman should use you that way. Society has gotten into your head and told you that you're useless if you can't let a woman use you in that way as a cleanup man. You should be a cleanup man for your family while you dictate what's responsible. While you dictate what you can do, because you're always going to do what's best or what you can afford or what's feasible at the time. You can always be a cleanup man for your family if you dictate the circumstances. Stop letting women use you like that as a cleanup man for their own bad decisions. She shouldn't have got that master's degree. She shouldn't have got that doctorate. Now you're $70K in debt. And she keeps saying you need to earn more because the Department of Education is coming after her ass. Don't let them trick you. A lot of y'all not going to disagree. I'm sorry. A lot of y'all not going to agree with this. I don't give two shits. This is what real people are going through. Fellas, women have to be useful too. In fact, that's her whole purpose. Women have to be useful too. Another point I want to make on this. This is for my average ladies out there. And for those of you who are thinking, oh, I ain't average. Yes, the fuck you are. You are average. Just like I said, 99% of men at the age of first marriage are average ass niggas. You average too. I don't want to hear that shit today. Average women don't deserve high earners. But wait for it. Average women create high earners. Average women have always worked, and they help create the men that stand on top of society after they built all that stuff together. And she like, damn, he got this now. He done caught his stride. Scared of you. Average women don't deserve high earners. They help create high earners. That is your job. There are two types of women I want to highlight on this topic. Two types. The queen bee is what most women are trying to be, in my opinion. The queen bee is just lazy. In fact, most of the women during my upbringing were calling themselves queen bee, probably because of Little Kim. The queen bee just wants to lay down, get fat, and have babies. And have all of the worker bees bring her food, bring her honey, bring her sweets, whatever she wants. She just wants to lay down, get fat, and have babies. We don't want queen bees. Fellas, you want a lioness. Did you know that a lioness does a majority of the hunting in a pride of lions? Not saying women need to do a majority of the work, but that is to say, the lion is ultimately responsible for the pride. She doesn't use the fact that she hunts against him to say she should be running the pride. She does whatever the big chief requires. Some prides, the lions hunt equally. Some prides, the lionesses do a majority. All we know and all we can discern, because they don't speak English, is that they do whatever the big chief requires from them. He's ultimately responsible for their protection. The only reason they get to roam around safe is because the big chief is awake. He'll tear anybody's face off. He'll do whatever's necessary. But he told his women, this is what I need from you. Fellas, you want a lioness that's standing ready and at attention. What do you need from me, chief? I got you, chief. That's it. These are my thoughts and considerations on this topic. Let me drop this link so y'all can come up. Let me know how you feel about what I just said. Every family has a different story, ladies and gentlemen. Every family has a different story. Some families are generations into their wealth building journey. Some families are generations into their wealth building journey. Stop looking at what other people are doing. Black people, in particular, we are still at square one. By 2050, the net worth of the entire Black community will be zero. I don't want to hear from any Black person that you want to stay home unless your husband, the big chief, requested it. All hands are needed on deck. Explain something to me. How do you go out and protest about Black men being marginalized and targeted and discriminated against for jobs and promotions, but then behave like all Black men should make six figures? You better understand that all hands are needed on deck. He will do what is required. He will put a roof over your head. But you need to be asking what he needs from you. It's hustle time. Hustle, hustle. It's not 50-50. It's not 100-100. It's hustle, match, hustle. What do you need for the children? What do you need from me? I keep telling y'all over and over again that people that do this correctly do not keep score about where the money comes from. I got my squad. Me and my wife are out here hustling. Do you want to know the secret? Before I bring everybody up, do you want to know the secret about 50-50 in marriages and relationships? Do you want to know the secret? This is the big ta-da. Ladies, for you who are thinking that I've said anything wrong, do you want to know the secret to this 50-50 thing? The family that hustles the hardest, their women get to sit down first. That's it. Hustle. It's not 50-50. It's not 100-100, because that's 200. I don't know who the hell does math that way. It's not 100. It's hustle meets hustle. And the family that hustles the hardest, their women get to sit down first. You want to know how an entire economy is created in one ethnic group? They're not trying to take over a government. That's why it's called Chinatown. They got their own economy in your economy. They benefiting from both. They'll take everything you have. They'll use your tax dollars to put their kids in gifted and talented programs because they hustling. Want to talk to me about some 50-50. When you go to a Chinese restaurant, the woman is in the front. Is she sitting down or is she working? The husband is in the back cooking. 20 years later, the kids then took over. Hustle meets hustle. Whoever hustles the hardest, the woman gets to sit down first because the men don't sit down at all, if we really being honest. Talking to me about 50-50. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, what's
Good
going on,
morning.
Trigger Mike?
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning, Mr. Rich. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Israel?
All right. Hey, good morning. Hey, thank you for having me on, Trigger Mike.
Hey, no
Hey,
doubt.
another great topic, brother.
Yeah, man,
Yes,
you
sir.
was
Speak
cooking.
on it, Mr. Rich. You can go first.
All right. Hey, listen, I talk about this 50-50. I think it's another uh I guess a victim of feminism and the way black women have adapted some of the wrong things. Let me and because 50-50 was never supposed to be 50-50 across the board, right? Because in your relationship, 100%, 100%. But if you have a woman making a lot of money and you're making a lot of money, doesn't matter whose, you have to have a plan on what you're going to do with all the money, right? And a lot of women have been coached to always have a secret stash. And with feminism, they've been told like your money's your money and your husband's money's our money. And that narrative has been allowed to fester because of men and simps. Because any man marrying a woman under that premise is an absolute asshole. And we got a lot of assholes out there. And that's the problem. And so it became a narrative and it kept getting repeated, just like I don't need a man and all the rest of the tropes and all the good men, even some alpha men. Oh, because the Angry Man had a good podcast on alpha men and sigma men. And it's worth listening to. We allowed a lot of this stuff to happen, and we're reaping. The chickens have come home to roost, and we're reaping that bad mojo. So I'm a baby boomer. So you're right, Trigger Mike. A lot of this started falling apart with Gen X's. And so with me, my wife was, damn man, I got married in 87, something like that. She was making almost 40 grand a year, if you think about way back then. And and in my head before we got married, I always thought about her money as gravy. I said everything we do, all the money everything that we take that we need to survive on is going to be based on my salary, right? And anything you have is going to be gravy. But I didn't say you could just spend it on any old shit. I said you got to put this over here, you got to put that over there, and whatever's left, keep yourself looking pretty and all that kind of stuff. I had no problem with. But as long as she kept doing the things we needed to move forward willingly, and that was the case. So when we came time for us to buy our house, a couple of things happened. She had to quit her job. I think we were on our second kid. And I asked her to quit her job, man. We were on our second kid and we just bought a house, but we used her 403B money that she saved to put a down payment on the crib. And I've been paying a mortgage ever since. And that's how we just roll. And a lot of men need to get back to that. But you need to have that conversation. That's it for me. I mean, I have more later on, but that's it for now.
Listen, before you go, Israel, this is the stuff that people need to understand because I hear things and it's really disheartening. All right. So after we got married, me and my wife, we talked about, she just started a business. And for those of you who know, when you start a business, for some reason, people act like it's showtime, like it's time to start stunting and flossing. Those startup costs are so dire. They hit so hard on your family, right? You're not paying yourself, right? The one money you get even in profit goes back to the business. And I'm paying at the time it was rent, right? Just paying rent. We just had a new baby, doing everything for the baby. I'm holding the whole house down as I'm supposed to do. And um her great grandmother, I believe, left her something. And she said, I want to use this to buy our first home. This money you paying in rent can easily be paid on a mortgage. Some men out here giving the narrative that I was supposed to say, no, let's not do that because it's your money. That's the idiocy of this 50-50 narrative. Y'all are blocking your own chance at wealth and asset creation. Some men are dumb enough to think that I was supposed to say, no, let's not do that. Let's not create a better life for ourselves and our children until I save enough money. We save money, but those of you who have homes, how long does it take to save 20% on a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 home? Please tell me who got that kind of cash in your bank account right now, other than Israel and Mr. Rich. Y'all better take these blessings seriously. I paid the mortgage. It was that simple. Level up. Trey says I do. And Trey. All my panelists rich. All right,
Hey,
Israel, what's going on, bro?
hey, what's going on, brother? Hey, look, I used to be. You seen that commercial on that commercial where the dude had the crypto and he was like, yes, yes. And then like less than 30 minutes later, he's like, oh, because he was a millionaire 1 minute. And then the next minute, because of that daggone crypto, he was back down. So, hey, look, I don't got it right now. My crypto, my stocks is not doing well. But hey, we're going to get back up. But look, so this is the thing, Trigger Mike, right? Man, there's so much meat on this. I'm trying to pause, but I'm trying to think about which way to come at this, because what you're saying essentially is not wrong, right? It's not like you're wrong in what you're saying. And I admire a lot of your perspective, right? Mm-hmm. The issue is twofold for me, right? First, religiously, you know what I'm saying, as a Muslim, right? You are required to take care of your wife. Like, you are required to pay for the shelter, pay for the majority of the things that, take care of the majority of things. You're required in Islam to do that. Not only that, but to buy her clothes as well and provide some other stuff. But that's a requirement, right? So there's that conflict there. However, you are allowed to have her, you take care of, like Mr. Rich was saying, basically, he takes care of the major bills and the major things, the mortgage, the bills, whatever the case may be. And then the wife's money, you allocate maybe to invest some investments or some things. And then you give, she gets the rest of it and is able to, enjoy herself, pamper herself, whatever the case may be. Right. So I agree with that standpoint. Right. The issue is, man, in America, especially in the Black community, a lot of times getting a woman to, like Mr. Rich was alluding to earlier, be a part of that philosophy and to have that philosophy, they'll do it. Listen, the women in my life, they'll do it, but they do it grudgingly. They do it and they have an attitude. They'll do it and they'll hold it against you. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll attack you with it. Oh, well, and a lot of people that I know cases, if their wife paid that down payment money, you're gonna hear about that every day. Yeah, that's why this is my house. This is my house. You just live here, Negro. This is, you know what I'm saying? And that type of sentiment. And so as a thinking man and as a man that gets money, it's like, man, you come to the conclusion like, yo, you want to have your ducks in a row, your stuff together. You want to be able to take care of your situation regardless of a woman or not. And then if she comes in, like Mr. Rich said, everything that she has is just gravy. You're not looking for anything that she has. It's just gravy, you know what I'm saying, on the bone or whatever the case may be. So
Yep.
it's kind of that dynamic when you deal, unfortunately, with black women. Unfortunately, because of the programming, because of the training, a lot of times they're so adamant about if they do something that they're running something or that they are equal and say so to you, that it's less of a headache for you to just do it yourself.
Hey, I don't know why you thought I was going to disagree with any of that because I don't. They will do it begrudgingly. The craziest part about it, this is the part that I feel, and this is actually a question, but I have to say it. I have to say it now. On the women who go to school and run up all of this debt, do you know that they've essentially made themselves the biggest liabilities? And the worst part about it is that every other group that understands this, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to come with debt, I'm going to need to be an asset to my family, plain and simple. That's the setup they come in with. I'm a boss chick. I can work just like you can work. Then they realize they're actually women, and then they want to scale back, right? Right around 30, especially when those kids come. Then their mind starts changing, right? So you're absolutely right. They do want to do it in a begrudging fashion. I don't think it's cool, but I think we need to put enough out there information wise so they stop teaching this to the kids because they got primary custody of them, right? So they stop teaching it and let some other narrative take over. All right, what's going on? Bashua, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. What you got on the topic?
Well, unfortunately, I just popped in. I'm a little late, so I apologize for that. But in terms of the topic, um, if it's a true relationship and it's an authentic relationship, it should be 100 and 100, not 50-50. I think in a lot of ways in this modern society, and for the most part, I'm going to put most of the onus on the women. There's too much selfishness with women in our community. It's all about them and what they can get out of a man as opposed to what you could do for a man. And so in my husband's house, it's 100, 100. I give my all, he gives his. In terms of the financial breakdown, yes, he's the one that pays all the bills and all the mortgage. I'm the one that does all the domestic duties. I do all the cooking, the cleaning. I take care of him. And it's a fair trade. That's 100, 100 in our house. And that's how it works. And, it's been doing us some good.
Indeed, indeed. And let me let me let me respond to this because this is an interesting. So Linda says women's educations are liabilities. I do not mean that in the sense that a woman, her education is a liability. But let me dive deeper into that so we're not misunderstood. Women's education is actually an asset. And you've heard me say on numerous occasions that if you are educated, even if you're not, you need to be an asset to your family. But modern women's education actually is a liability because it comes with an unequal amount of debt. Women in general, well, I don't even want to keep saying the word, but the women I'm referring to are the most likely to not be working in their degree field within 5 years after getting a degree. That means they're not making enough money to pay that degree down at all. And it's just accruing interest. That is a financial liability. So I'm not taking that back. If you are going to get educated, make sure you are an asset to your family. STEM, nursing, things that have jobs attached to it. No more of these social science warriors where you realize you don't like it and you got 60K accruing interest and the Department of Education is ringing my damn phone down. No, thank you. King Spark, what's going on?
What's going on, brother? Hope the noise
What
ain't
you
too
got on the
much in the
topic?
background. Um, man, they gotta work, man. They gotta work. Everybody needs to be pitching into every household, brother. I mean, it's just it's as simple as that. This notion of my money's my money, it's just so crazy. But I had to sit my woman and sit her down and break it down to her that that's not how this thing is gonna work. Like, what's the point of you working that? What's the point of you actually being physically able, competent, smart, and all these things? It's just for you, just for you to take care of yourself. Like, absolutely not. I'm the one pot of mentality, man. Throw everything in the pot, and we'll break it down from there. But there is no my in the relationship. You don't have no more money. I don't have no more money. This is our money. Period. Whether you got more, I got more this week, or vice versa. This is our money. This is our relationship.
Indeed.
Anybody else goes. The one thing though is almost every woman I know has a secret stash that she's not going to tell her husband about.
Oh, we
She's
know.
been told over generations to have this secret little bit of money somewhere that just in case you got to escape, you can at least eat for a few nights. I mean, it's not a big stealthy thing, but I just think it's something that they have in the background. People, I don't know if it's 100%, but I
No.
think if a woman was being honest, she would probably say, I got a little secret stash, but everything else I have, I don't mind chipping in, but I got a stash somewhere.
Well, you know
That
what? The
part,
only Go ahead. Go ahead.
that might apply to most women. I was never taught that. I
Good.
have I have some little save little accounts and some stashes, but my husband already knows about it. And also, by the way, in addition to me cooking and cleaning, I do contribute financially by buying the groceries. So I just want to point that out as
Let me
well.
ask you this then, but do you know some women that got a secret stash?
That I unfortunately I don't, and I'm being for real. I really
That's
don't.
cool. That's cool.
Can we celebrate? Can we celebrate this sister real quick? You know what I'm
I
saying,
mean,
and
we
give her
we
her
always
props
clap.
while you know what I'm
By
saying.
now, we
You know what I'm
always
saying?
clap
We
for her. You know that.
appreciate, you know what I mean? We appreciate you doing what you do for your husband. You know what I'm saying? We need more women doing what you do for their husbands. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
when we have a
cool.
good sister, that seemingly is doing for her husband, we need to celebrate that. You know what I'm saying? So
Agreed.
celebration, jubilation.
All right.
Thank you. I just do it because I love him, you know?
That's good.
All right. John the Baptist. Good afternoon, bro. You just gonna make me stare at LeBron on your icon, or John the Baptist? You there? Yeah, he just wants me to stare at LeBron.
We can't hear you, Jeff.
Oh no, we can't hear you. I see your thing moving, but something's wrong with your mic.
Yeah, we can't understand what you're saying,
Yeah, I
John
see
the
you
Baptist.
trying to talk. Yeah, go out and come back in. Go out and come back in. All right, let's get into the first question. The first question. I'll start on this one. So, why do modern women think men should pay for
Can y'all hear
everything?
me?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we
All
can
right,
hear you now, man.
go ahead and get your opening thoughts, John. Oh damn, he dropped off. All right. So, the first question of the day is, why do modern women think men should pay for everything? I'm going to start. I definitely think this is attributed to the Disney male gentleman version of things. That's where it started from childhood. They have some kind of traditional sense of, it's an overinflated, incorrect sense of things. It also stems from a lack of fatherhood. I don't think there's any problem or misconception in the black community in general that cannot be attributed to fatherlessness. Because a father wasn't there to help you understand what things mean, a lot of women had to generalize their own understanding. And then, even if your father was in the home, you had so many women, so many girls out here with this infectious, toxic ass way of thinking that looked more attractive to you as a woman. So you just went and adopted that because it seemed fun. So you went against even what you were taught. So I've noticed that as well. And I want to give credence to that fact. But I think so many women think men should pay for everything because they're lazy. I'm coming at it from that angle. There is nothing more attractive to a modern woman than having to do nothing and getting everything. I think that is so indicative of the time in general that in which we live. Most millennials and even these Gen Z people, they're kind of lazy in a sense. In one way, when it comes to the things they want, they can hustle. But when it comes to what they can give in a service aspect, they begin to become extremely lazy and unyielding. And I don't want to. So, Mr. Rich, tell me what you think. Why do modern women think men should pay for everything?
I don't disagree with what you said. I just would think that there's a lot of angles to it. Your angle could be true about the Disney fantasy stuff. But I really just think that black women in general, not all, have taken feminism to a level that is so toxic and so cultural to black women. And maybe it's because of their inherent inferiority complex about everything. That's why they got the wigs and the eyelashes and the makeup and the long fingernails and this so-called horrible kind of look. They all look the same and they all need constant validation. So I just think they took the part about a man taking care of them to the extreme level where they think entitlement. I mean, you got women who, I'm a big guy, I'm fat, but they are, 300-400 pound women thinking that with a list of requirements from dudes, and they don't like fat guys. They want a muscular dude to
They
come
want
in.
a football
Yeah,
NFL build dude. I
women with
mean,
the women with the $200,000 rings and all that kind of stuff. So my point is that it's not on the topic. They just making
Somebody need to mute up, man. I
John the
can't hear
Baptist is
nothing.
still horrible, John.
yeah. So it's just this entitlement. It's this misinterpretation of how to deal with a man, and it's almost all transactional with a lot of women. Now, I just want to be careful with the fact that what we hear on these airwaves, I still don't have the statistics on how much that really translates into the whole diaspora. Because there's usually talking points on these airways, and the women on the airways are so toxic, and we're just starting to get other women coming out. Your Dee Dees and your Chantels and your Crimson Cures starting to talk differently. But it's just a shame that these women think that way because they can't really believe that they all are entitled to that kind of life. They just can't. It's just crazy. But hey,
they
that's
believe
enough.
it.
I mean,
They
more on that.
believe it, Mr. Rich. That's the crazy part. Israel, what you got? Why do they think that men should pay for everything?
So I blame Lil Wayne and Cash Money. It ain't tricking if you got it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Popular culture, hoe culture, stripper culture. Um, all of those things have contributed to women thinking that men should pay for everything. So it's that whole movement of, because you got to think about it, before that, dudes wasn't talking about paying for anything. They was talking about the women, you know what I'm saying, supplying, and then them, treating the women, and the women supplying. So it's the music, it's the stripper culture, and the 304 culture.
Yeah. So as soon as you said stripper, I just keep thinking about money from the ceiling. The first time I was in, damn,
Let me just
these
ask one more
YouTube.
thing,
Hold
though,
on,
Mike.
let's give a say again.
I just want to add one more thing. No
Yes,
other
sir.
woman in mass thinks that way. Even white women don't think that way. Hispanic women don't think that way. Asian women don't think that way. Jewish white women don't think that. I mean, nobody else thinks that way in mass other than the black woman. And they try to reinforce it all the time. But I just wanted to add that. I forgot to say that.
Well, I tried to say it. That's why I was just tired of saying the word black woman, but I said what I'm trying to find a part of the monologue. I said the most unmarried woman. If you want to look, if you need proof as to why this is a dangerous narrative, the woman that thinks her man should pay for everything is the most unmarried woman in the world. So, if anybody needed proof, King Spark, what you got?
Man, where's Mr. Let Go, man? Women are children. It's mine. This is mine. This is mine. They're the most selfish people on the planet. And that's basically what it is. I don't understand. why have a whole feminist movement for the right to work, but you won't have the movement to say the right to pay? Like this shit just it just
It's
I don't.
crazy, bro.
And I would wish one day we could have a feminist lady come up here and tell me how that makes any kind of sense. You know, and my thing is that it's almost like nobody gonna like this, but it's like ain't no point in y'all working. I wish it would go back to just barefoot in the kitchen. Because if you're gonna work, but you don't want to pay, not only are you taking money and just being it for yourself, but you're stopping another man from getting money and taking care of a family as well. All that money that y'all just want to take up and go buy bags and shit, right? Those are men that are out of the workforce, but a man is willing to take his resources and pay for someone else. But a woman want to take the shit all for herself. They just delusional and selfish, man. Like
Man,
children.
I'm gonna tell y'all something, and this is how strongly I feel about this. I don't know at what point I'm gonna need to do hiring, but to the best of my ability, right? Because you can't really outline these things in America in script. My priority is going to be to hire only black men to do things. I have noticed that black women are extremely discriminatory when you let them into any of your processes. They will isolate men in general out of any work system to bring women in. Like men will employ men and women almost equally across the board. I've looked across 10 of the largest companies. When the HR or when the CEO was a male, you had roughly around 52 to 48. You see those type of numbers, 52% male, 48% female. They will go over 70% women within 3 years at most of these companies. When the woman is a CEO, the practices that women employ when they are in power are far more discriminatory than men could ever be. Ever be. So that's why I said if you give a man a job or opportunity, we tend to create families. If you give a woman a job or an opportunity, she will destroy a family. I'm only going to focus in my business to give jobs to men. I don't care how women feel about it. Y'all showed me on paper. I've done the math that you will discriminate and push this feminist agenda to the absolute max. I ain't having it in my business.
Yeah, just don't write that down in your HR papers,
I
man.
Right.
just said I can't write it down nowhere.
Hey,
I
Trigger
said
Mike,
that.
did you see that comment? She said you can't complain about both chicks and need financial assistance from your woman simultaneously. Pick a struggles. You see what I'm saying? This is the
Who said that?
mentality.
Who said that?
I think it was. Hold
Give me a
on.
timestamp.
Shoot, I don't know a timestamp. Hold on.
Pick a struggle.
Just the mentality though. Futuristic vibes. I think it was that said that.
Oh, man, I can't find it. Wait, let me. Oh, I got it.
It's a little while back.
She said you can't complain about boss chicks and need financial assistance from your
I
woman
said boss.
simultaneously.
I can't say.
So this is actually a good discussion to have. That's what we're here for. Dispelling the myths. Looking at this picture, this is obviously a black woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's I really love the fact that you said need financial assistance. If the modern black woman was willing to live under what the average man could provide, we would not have this problem. We don't need your assistance. If you look at Hispanic immigrants, they don't need their woman's assistance. If they want the woman to stay home, she is willing to make it work. Whatever change he's bringing home, as long as he's putting a roof over their head, they will make the clothes situation work. They will watch other people's kids in the house. We don't need your financial assistance. You said you wanted to contribute. You wanted to go to school. You told us your job was important and we should put the kids in daycare. We don't need your assistance. You just want to live this extravagant life, so your ass better be willing to contribute to it. Period.
It'd be nice for her to come up and talk.
Yeah, bring your ass up here. Nothing, no smoke, no smoke.
You know they ain't gonna do that. Come on, you know she
Ain't
ain't
gonna
gonna do that.
We don't
Women
know.
get
You
financial
treat the
assistance.
ladies nice up
Do
here.
you think an Asian woman sitting in the Chinese restaurant at the front is talking this bullshit while her husband in the back sweating over that hot ass walk? Do you think she's talking this bullshit?
If she is, she does it in private.
She does it. Man, talk to him. Mr. Rich. I don't want to hear the stuff from you,
She
man.
does. She talks about it on the way to the goddamn bank. That's what she talk about.
My man Vincent, oh, where is that? Vincent Williams says average equals struggle. That is true. That's what they think. Now, I thought I made it perfectly clear. I thought I made it clear. Average women don't deserve high earners, but they create most of them. It is the average woman that gets with the average man and stays with him that gets all the fruit of that labor. It is these 40 somethings that's been with that dude since they 20 somethings that you see with that Escalade. You just thinking they got there just by happenstance. You did not see all of the issues they went through. You did not see them at their lowest point when all their kids was just born and a car was about to get repossessed. You did not see them when they got denied for that home loan. All you saw was the glow up, but never concern yourself with how the hell they got there in the first place.
No doubt. Everybody
No.
want the glory. Nobody want the story.
Fact.
Hey, but this hey, John the Baptist, mute, John the Baptist. Hey, this is the thing too, though. You know what I'm saying? This is the thing too. She's saying that what's she say? She's saying that didn't we say that we need that we was talking about we need two incomes in this economy? Hell no, like that's not what we're saying. We don't need no two incomes in this economy. It depends on what your lifestyle is and the type of lifestyle you're trying to live. If you're trying to live, you know what I'm saying, below your means or live just a regular lifestyle, you don't need two incomes. But if you're trying to keep up with the Kardashians or whatever, then hell yeah, you need two incomes.
I would really like to know if Futuristic Vibes has school debt. I would really like to know.
She ain't gonna be honest. What up, Dub Will? She ain't gonna tell you for real.
Oh, this is my man Dub Will. This is his first time on the show. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on? How's my mic? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What
Yeah,
you
we
got
can
on
hear you, fam.
Yeah,
what do you got on the question?
I came in kind of late, so somebody might have already covered what I'm about to say. The whole thing about women wanting to stay home and the man pay for everything. My biggest issue with that, especially when it comes to our community, Black American community, that is not something we have historically seen. So I don't know where this narrative came from that somehow you're a lesser provider or you're less of a man if you cannot uh, pay for everything or have your woman live this lavish lifestyle. That where are you getting this from? Where did you see that in your family history? Most of our mothers, grandmothers, great grandmothers, they worked in some sort of capacity. Even if they didn't go work as an employee at somebody's job, they were working in the fields. They were working at home. They had a bunch of kids. They were cooking. They were cleaning. They weren't just being pampered and living the lifestyles of the rich and the famous. So this narrative really is irritating.
Hey, Dub Will. 100% facts.
Can y'all
I
hear
think I
me?
said that. Did I say that in the monologue? Because I'm pretty sure that's I went back in history, bro, even into like pictures, all because I wanted to break it down in detail, not what these women were picture doing. What were they doing while their husbands were at work? While the husbands were at work, they were working in the church. They were watching other people's children for money. They were doing laundry services. They were maids in other people's houses. Some of them were teachers, teachers' aid. Like, who told y'all Black women stayed home? And these women didn't even have any debt of their own. Who told y'all Black women stayed home all their life?
Hey, you see this joint, Trigger Mike?
Hey, can y'all hear me now? My mic went
Wait,
off a second. Can you hear me now?
Double. Hold on.
Okay.
You see this joint, Trigger Mike? She talking about I'm at work right now, like the strong, independent, masculine Black American woman that I am at the moment. So I can't join the discussion right now. Yeah, cap. That's the cap features right there. That's the cap.
That's cap. I'm at work too. That's cap. But let me finish my point real quick. The lifestyle that a lot of these women imagine, that the whole stay at home and be pampered, that was always left for a very, very exclusive group of women. And most of the time, those women were born into upper crust society and they married men who were in that society. All throughout American history, most world history, but let's just stick to American history. Even white women went to work. If you go back historically and looked at some of the factories and some of the ones that lived in agricultural areas, those women worked too. Matter of fact, the children worked. That's why we have child labor laws. So to expect that for the fact that you thought that the children went to work, but the women just kind of sat home and just kicked their feet up. You're delusional, and that's all I got to say on the subject. Y'all have a good one.
And do you want to
Drop the
know?
mic. You can drop the
So
mic,
he did, he
Doughboy.
did. And look, he about to peace out like mic drop. Listen, you want to know what else I found? I just went through 10 black families, 10 white families, some of their records from like 1950, all this type of stuff. Looking up public records. Do you want to know what the common denominator was for women who actually stayed home, or like in the sense that we're talking about? Their family-owned property, meaning they have had wealth of some kind for generations. So the woman might even be maintaining that business, that part of the business, that part of the family's income. So these people have generations of wealth going around in circles. So the grandfather's still alive, opened a company. The grandfather and her husband, her father and her husband work for that same company. She's helping maintain the properties. These people have been around and their wealth has circulated for generations before anybody talked about a woman staying home. And she's probably working in some way, shape, or form for the family. All right, King Spark. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Bad Shoe's turn. You go ahead.
Thank you so much. Why do modern women feel men should pay for everything? I think it's a sense of entitlement. It's a bit contradictory. Matter of fact, while I was listening to you all, I was on mute, and my husband and I were talking about this. Um, it seems like over the course of the last 50 or so years, we've been fed that notch that you could be strong and independent. You don't need a man. You could be bad all by yourself. And now all of a sudden you're trying to switch it up and say, oh, well, I need a man who can make all this money, who will take care of me, who will retire me, who will make me a lady of leisure and all this other nonsense. I mean, my thing is, make up your mind. Either you need a man or you don't. In terms of living on one income, it is my strong belief that that could happen. A family can live on one income. It's all about priorities. Several years ago, I had a friend, and it was her husband and their two sons. She was a stay-at-home mom. Her husband was a carpenter. Now we know carpenters, depending on how many jobs they have, they can make a lot of money depending on the jobs, but they're not mostly, you know, rolling in the dough, if you will. In spite of that, she lived a very simple life. And I know this isn't for everyone, but this is how I saw it. And I appreciated what she did. And actually, I admired her for what she did. Um, she made a lot of things at home from scratch, like her cleaning supplies. They had a small house. It was probably a little over 1,000 square feet with 2 bedrooms, maybe three. She had about a 3/4 acre lot, and she grew vegetables, and she had an apple tree in the front, and she had enough room for a chicken coop. So she raised chicks. She had at least 4 hens. So she didn't have to worry about going to the grocery store and buying eggs, which you would think nowadays with the cost of egg prices, that would be something people consider. Um, I live in Philadelphia, and unfortunately, it's illegal to have backyard chickens. That law was passed in 2004, but people still have them. So during this pandemic, people were um, having their chickens for their eggs, but I digress. The point is, she was living a very simple life. She had a very comfortable life. Every time I walked into her house, it was warm and welcoming, and they didn't have a boatload of money. And they were happy. The children were happy. The children were well adjusted. So, again, it's all about priorities. In our home, we're not rich. We live in a row home in Philadelphia. I do a lot of things from home, even though I am currently working. I have a hybrid. My job is hybrid, so today's my work from home day. Um, I do a lot of things from home. I garden, so that saves us money on vegetables. I can sew, I can knit, I crochet, so I can make stuff for the home, or if we need to make some clothes, I can do that. I do things like canning. I cook from scratch. You know, I could make, tinctures for like natural medicine, and our 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 products. I make our hair care products. I make a lot of things from scratch, and it saves us money, and it's healthier. That's not chemically laden. So, we don't need extravagant stuff. So our priorities isn't about extravagance, but it's about simplicity. It's about practicality. And unfortunately, a lot of these modern women, they want to live an extravagant life. And only a few can only a small percentage of people can do that. They don't want to live practically. And that's where the problem lies. And with these unrealistic expectations that a lot of these modern women have, that's why 1 in 4 Black women will ever marry. Because they're living in a fantasy where they're living in la la land, and it's time for them to come back to reality, or that 1 in 4 will eventually dwindle to 0.
Damn, that was facts. That when you said hair care product, I was like, okay. Obviously, y'all have heard me say on multiple occasions that not only have women always worked, even the women that don't work, they're either making money on behalf of the family or saving money on behalf of the family. You are saving money for your family. House moms, or whatever we want to call them, are worth their weight in gold. They save their money.
Absolutely.
They save their family money. She's like, babe, don't eat out. That's my problem. My wife knows. Can you stop? I cook. Can you put, you see what I'm saying? Like, eat the food I put in the fridge. Save some money, So I just find it very disheartening that a lot of women literally are saying, I don't want to work to sit on my ass. Bad candidates for marriage. All right. Hustler and Muscular. What's going on, man? Ain't been on a panel with you in a while.
That's just my first time calling, but how you doing?
Yeah. I was on another panel, like maybe Fight Club or something with you once. That's what I mean. I remember the name because I couldn't say it then. I can't say it now.
Just call me H&M for short.
H&M. Got you.
Now, our topic was 50-50 relationships.
Yes, sir.
Okay, when I think of 50-50 relationships, I think of, the husband and the wife doing what they have to do to contribute to the family dynamic. The man has his role, the woman has his role. What's the woman's role? She used to be the nurturer.
Her role. I was like, whoa, his role. Her role.
I said the woman's role.
You said his, but it's okay.
I was like,
I'm sorry. Well, I'll get to the man's role next. But the woman's role, she's the nurturer, she's the caretaker. She takes care of all the, the housework. She cooks, she cleans, she takes care of the housework. That's her job. Now, what's the job of the man? The man's job is simple. He does anything and everything that requires you to get sweaty, get dirty, or possibly injured. Car needs fixing, let the man take care of that. Basement needs cleaning, let the man take care of that. Your cable goes out, and because your satellite's on the fritz, let the man climb to the roof of that building or house or whatever and check that satellite. That's what I mean when I say 50-50. The man has his role, the woman has her role to play. That's how I look at 50-50 relationships. But I guess a lot of people don't see it that way. I literally had a sister a few days ago tell me that if it's 50-50, she getting the short end of the stick because now she gotta cook, clean, take care of the household. I'm like, sweetheart, that's what you're supposed to do as a wife. What part don't you understand? That's what you're supposed to do, and the man supposed to play his role. So, and
yeah, go ahead.
That comment that the other sister left up there talking about the boss chick. We don't want a boss chick. Don't complain. Don't complain about the boss chick if we don't want financial assistance or something like whatever she said. Okay, first of all, as men, we don't need any financial assistance from a woman. And second of all, the problem we have with the boss chick is their attitudes. They got money, they got status, they got wealth, but they have these nasty entitled attitude because they feel like they're better than us and we're just basically beneath them. It's the attitudes we don't like. And even if we did need their financial assistance, you better humble your little happy tail while you're trying to help me build something. Don't bring your nasty attitude into my household, into my kingdom, into my territory. If you're going to be a detriment to me, you need to get the hell up out of my life. That's all I'm saying. My mic is muted. Carry on.
Bars.
Hey, futuristic vibes. I'm not saying he was yelling at you, but yeah. Poke Man, how you doing? Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show.
Pause. Oh no, Polk, not Poke. Okay, I'm sorry.
What's good, Trigger Mike? I've listened to you since you started, man. I listen to you just as much as I listen to Sage talk. You know, it's real deep. People being upfront and honest. I only had 2 years of my life dedicated to that 50-50 relationship thing. Let me tell you, it was good until them big decisions had to be made. It was okay, you know. We it was all right, and it was also good until because we set parameters on our life, right? We'll let our partner know or our mate know, what we willing to accept, what we not willing to accept, and once they start reaching certain levels of weight, that's intolerable because you're starting to look like Big Mama. We can't have that at our young age. You know what I'm saying? Like if we can't get out and work together, you know what I'm saying? I mean, love only takes you so far. And if that boss mentality, as soon as a woman says she independent, you just broke up with me. Like we can't, we're not cohesive if you're independent. It's not even possible. That mentality has been baked in since childhood. Because they didn't have fathers. They don't know what a father or the role of a man looks like. Like I was literally told men have no purpose in family other than to be a wallet. And this is when I had my first year of my first child. And I was like, what did I do? I messed up. I told the end before it came, but I tried to ride it out for 2.5 years. I knew it wasn't gonna work from the beginning. But you know how we are. Prove me wrong. I'm gonna be here till you prove me wrong. I never put you out. But if you can't hold me down in times of distress, like my man was saying, then basically you threw a grenade. It's over. And I never went in the kitchen. I was banned from the kitchen. She didn't even know I could cook. I'm a beast. My red beans better. You know what I'm saying? But there's some things that I do she can't do. She can't afford to do. There's something that she did. I could do it, but I like to watch you do it. Back in the day, I'm 43 now, so this is a long time ago. But I would sit on with the homies, she'd bring me a plate of fruit. I'm like, what the hell wrong with you? I'm in the hood, I'm in the corner, man. Like, I want to break the plate, but it's my mama, gave that as a gift, so I can't break it. Like, I'll be in a minute, So we have roles, and some women want to use their femininity as a what's the word I want to use? As leverage. They want to manipulate a situation, and if they don't get their way, then they become toxic, tear it all down, jumping on your hood, kicking in your door, going through your phone. Oh man, and then it's a problem all over. Then they'll start meticulously putting their way and wedging their way into how you discipline children, and oh my God, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Got you, my man. Fatty, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Mike? How you guys doing?
Oh, we good, bro. What's
up, Fatty?
What's up, Peace? So let's be honest about it, right? Not every man deserves to lead a relationship. We've been on this panel for a while, and a lot of us are incompetent. True and true. We like this notion about the men are the leaders and the woman are the followers. Is good if both of them are functional adults and competent adults. But there's a lot of men that unfortunately don't. It is not even about money. It's about their mental capability. They don't deserve to be leaders because it's like giving a keys to a drunk guy. He's going to crash it into a wall, right?
So contextually, is this saying? Are you talking about provision within the family?
I'm talking about the decision making.
We're talking more about
provision.
50, no, not even. Help me out, y'all. trying to think of how this plays into
So we're talking about 50-50, and then is basically, should it be 50-50, it being 50-50, that the best relationships, what's the myths of being 50-50, and just basically your perception about it.
because I was like, you're talking about leadership, you know what I mean? And that's not really the topic right
Can
now.
it work in a modern relationship?
Yeah,
Can
but so
50-50 work in a modern relationship?
yes, so let's go for the financial part, because that's probably what you guys are talking about, right?
Yeah.
But I did like a lot of it. Something happened a couple of months ago that like made me think, and I came around through it, and it was your brother, your Nigerian brother Taylor, because he came on the panel. He says, "I'm going to marry the woman with money. That's one of my metrics, right?"
Mhm.
And he talked, and everybody laughed about it because everybody was saying, "Oh, I want a woman with a big booty. I want a woman that's feminine. I want a woman that's friendly." And he came with, "I want a woman that has money."
Mhm.
Right? And we clown him about it, like we kind of joke around. But to be honest, it makes a lot of sense. He wants to get married with someone that says something to lose just like him. He wants to get married with someone that now, when we go on the table and we sit and we are discussing matters, if you leave me for whatever reason, you are going to lose too. Right? So, at the end of the day, I believe that the relationships that work are relationships that the woman, she probably doesn't invest 50-50, but she invests a lot to the point where she doesn't lose. It's like the sunken cost fallacy. When you are very invested in something, even it is a financial investment, a job, a project, it's very difficult for you to let it go because you put so much into it, right?
Yep.
So I would actually challenge the fact that if he's 100-0, it's going to be easy to leave. If he's 80-20, probably it's going to be easy to leave. But if you start to give not 50, but like an increasing load of the what she has to do and the financial responsibilities, I kind of agree that a woman would be way more willing to stay, because now she is investing in what you guys build, and it's way more difficult for her to break from that than from something that she didn't help create. I think
But
I think actually there's a pretty good concept, because I still don't see men asking for a woman either with money or with means that it's comparable to them, because that negates everything about the marriage. You can kind of lose the kids, but you're not going to lose everything, because hey, you game with Alf, you live with Alf, it's kind of fine.
I could give you, Fatty, I could give you 3 examples in real life that you might be able to relate to that negate that point. Okay, so the first one is most recent, Giselle and Tom Brady. Giselle was making way more money than Tom Brady, and it was easy for her to leave. The second example is a recent example, Tia Mowry and the Hardwick brother. Hardwick, you know what I'm saying? It was a multi-millionaire as well, but Tia Mowry was making more money than Hardwick. Okay, the third example is Whitney Houston, God rest her soul, and Bobby Brown. So it's not necessarily so that just because a person is making as much money or more money as a woman, that is going to be harder for her to leave. It might be actually easier for her to leave because she has the means and the resources for her to just go, and it's not going to be a sweat off her back.
You're talking about millionaires dating millionaires, and all of those women had more money than the guy. Like I said
Right,
before,
that's what I said.
the thing is, there was no building there. They built a family. They had kids with each other. There's no, we are going to pay this mortgage together and we are going to plan for this trip in September. We're going to join funds for 3 months. That's building. That's normal people building, right? Things that put us together to the point where I know the kid is on the kindergarten. We need to stay together, because if we split, there's no money going there. We are not going to be able to afford. One person is not going to be able to fund the kindergarten. So it's about day-to-day activities, and it's about go ahead, Poke man.
Nah, you tripping me out when you say that, because I'm living it. You know what I'm saying? And all these things you saying one person can't do, one person can't maintain a household.
I
We
didn't
can.
say that.
Okay, you finished?
I
That's
didn't
what
say
I
that.
heard.
No, I didn't say that one person can maintain the household. I'm saying that, for example, this is very simple concept, right? In a perfect world, a woman would be attracted to you if you, every time she calls you or sends a message, you reply immediately, right? Because I'm available. On a perfect world, that will be actually ideal. She called me, hey, how are you? She sent me a message, hi baby, good morning. But on the real world, we know that there's a game to be played because women, for some reason, seek validation of men that usually don't give them the time back, right? So we understand the difference between ideal and what works. On the relationship, the ideal will be the man paying all the bills and the woman being on her place submissive while the man leads and everything is okay. But in reality, in my opinion, I agree that what works is a measurement where the man is the leader by default because he's doing a little bit more, but the woman has a large investment between 25 and 40% on the relationship to the point where it's difficult for her to leave. This is
But
my
that's
opinion.
not. I understand your opinion. But look, so with me, when I'm saying about, so first of all, someone said, "Oh, he lives in his imagination because he's giving celebrities." I'm giving celebrities because these are people that everybody knows of or have heard of their story. That's number one. Number two, the thing that Fatty said was a woman making a lot of money, and that was the point that Dela was making. But Dela wants a woman that makes more money than him. And what I'm telling you is those relationships
He
do
didn't say
not
that.
necessarily.
He didn't say that.
Yo, he actually did.
No, he
But if
didn't
you,
say that.
yo,
He
he
said that
actually
this
did.
woman
Wait,
had
Fatty,
more
Fatty,
money.
hold on, Fatty.
He didn't
I
say
didn't
that, but you
interrupt
are
you.
lying.
I'm not
Not
lying.
lying, but
He
you are
actually
misquoting.
did say he wanted sugar mama. It
No,
was his exact
he
words.
was joking about it. Let me
Okay, but Fatty, why you cut me
Israel,
off?
why are
He
you mounting
actually said he wanted a sugar
Israel?
mama. Why are you
Israel,
cutting
why are
me
you
off?
mounting an
Why are
argument
you
over a
cutting me
joke?
off? Why are you
No,
cutting me
because you
off?
are mounting your argument over a joke.
Listen, he said he wanted
Can
a
I
sugar mama.
explain
He
what he
wanted,
said
wait,
so we
no,
can get
no,
done with
I'm
this?
talking. I'm talking. Why are you
All right,
talking
one
over
mic.
me?
One mic.
Why are you talking over me? I
Go
was
ahead
talking.
and mount
I was talking. I
your
was
argument
talking.
over a sugar mama. Go ahead,
Fam,
bro. Waste our
fam,
time.
fam. You waste your own time, fam. You came
Okay,
over. I was
he
talking.
wanted a sugar
So,
mama.
yo, he
Go
said
ahead.
that he wanted a woman to actually make more money than him. And so the thing of it is that was the whole point that I was saying. For a woman to make more money than you in a relationship is not necessarily a good thing. And for a woman to bring as much money as you in a relationship does not necessarily bond her or seal her in a relationship. The thing about it is, if a woman, just because she has something invested in a relationship, does not mean that she will not leave or she will not easily leave. That's the whole point I'm making.
So now that you be completely the point, because sugar mama was a joke. He was dating a woman that had clearly more money than him. What he really said, I want to date someone that has something to lose, and he gave a parameter of money that was way lower than the money that he
All
made.
right, so Fatty, can I ask you a question? Let's just go back to people who are married couples. We ain't talking about relationships or situationships.
Yes,
We're talking about married couples.
yes,
If I'm married and you're married, you have a wife.
yes.
She got money, she doesn't have money. She has money and you have money. Does that
Mhm.
really change the traditional expectations of each one of you?
Absolutely.
And well, yeah, it can. And it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. But as long as you have an understanding going in, right? So that's where it's at. You know, some women who feel entitled don't give a shit about the understanding. I got my money, you got money, and you got to take care of me. And that's it. Now, it's still a man's fault for accepting that kind of narrative. You got to be willing to walk away from the booty if she says that to you. And if you don't ask her, shame on you. If you don't have that conversation, shame on you. If you don't find out that this chick is not going to share in your life and in your plan until after you get married, that's a man's fault. That's absolutely a man's fault. You can't put that on a woman. You know, you can't go into these things without it would being naive of a woman's nature. I mean, and a lot of men do. And that's maybe because of single parent household, households, no man to school them.
Is
And
that a
that's a lot
question?
of it.
Is that a question there? You
No,
said, Fetty,
I
let
was
me
just
ask you
trying
a
to
question.
filibuster you, brother. I was just trying to filibuster you,
No,
man.
that's fine.
But I
Just
just
around
want to
to
put you back on point. I mean, because you're
Hey,
talking about a lot of things. I'm not saying you're wrong, but we got to confine the conversation to we're talking about married couples.
hmm.
What's the expectation of married couples if you're going 50-50? And is the term 50-50 itself a bad term? You know, and in most households, before we started talking about this, men and women were working, especially in the black households. And in every other community, men and women work. Why are we having so much trouble just because our skin is melanated? It's just crazy.
Everybody's having a problem. White people are having a
I'm
problem.
not like us, man.
Now
Come on.
everybody. So the divorce rate in my country is 70%. 90% white people. They don't have any problem.
What country you from? South Africa?
I'm from Portugal, Europe.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So the problem is the same. The same is women don't want to look like they are followers. They either want to be on the front page like Rihanna and ASAP Rocky, or they don't want to be side to side with the man. They don't want to be on the back anymore. And all the arrangements that you can do in agreements, the biggest precipitation for, not precipitation, I don't know the word, but something that will accelerate you losing your marriage, either you losing a job or your wife having a promotion and making more money than you. So all the agreements that you can have and say, oh yeah, 50-50, I'm the leader, you the fall, they go right off the window, either if you lose your job.
Statistically, that's not true, Fatty.
Oh my
Statistically,
God.
that's not true. Financially, that's not the number one reason why people get divorced. Just for the record.
So I'm not happy.
Let's get to the next question. Bathshua, I haven't heard from you in a while. Do you think that a woman that won't contribute is a bad candidate for marriage? Why or why not?
She's disqualified.
I think her answer is valid.
What do you mean by don't contribute?
Financially.
She's a housewife.
She's disqualified immediately.
No, she still works. She said she still works and buys groceries. So, well, you know what? I actually mean contribute in any, well, financially, or at least saving the family some money. But hustler, H&M, what do you think?
Well, for me, it ain't so much the finances, but she can get in where she fit in. But if she's not going to be a traditional minded woman, but she expects me to be a traditional minded man, that's where we're going to have a problem. That's what I call lack of contributing. You expect me to work 9 to 5, work 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a day. And yeah, you can't get your little lazy ass up and at least take care of the household while I'm gone or take some phone calls that I may have missed. To me, you're not contributing to the family dynamic, so you're an automatic no-go. And I always say, she want to be for the streets, let her be, because that's where she's gonna have to go if she can't get on my program. That's all I'm saying. My mic is muted.
Yo, I love that ending.
My mic is muted.
My mic is muted. No. King Spark, do you think a woman that won't contribute is a bad candidate for marriage? Why or why not?
Yeah, like I said, she's disqualified absolutely because everything. You know what I always said? I always said I wanted a woman that I could go on an amazing race with and be successful. And that's a weird bar, but I always looked at it as you got to be able to do your part to contribute one way or another. You know what I'm saying? So just the idea that you wouldn't want to contribute automatically disqualifies you. And if you get, like you said, if you want an amazing race, you find out real quick what you got. You know what I'm saying? Hey, can you read the map? She can't read a map. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You can't even read the map while I'm trying to look for the key or something. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a team, man. Like you said in the monologue, this is a team effort, man. Period, point blank.
Yo, let me tell y'all something real quick, because what you said is so profound. I don't even know how this conversation came up. We were at the gun range outdoors just shooting. And I guess some of my white friends wait for a bunch of black people to come around, and they started talking about this situation and partnership, something around financial contribution, but somebody was complaining about his wife, how she lost her job and didn't want to go back to work. But naturally, everything they had acquired was so lofty, right? And she wanted to move her parents in, help her sister pay her mortgage for a little while, and then she lost her job, didn't want to get another, stuff like that. So it just came up. And I started to think, he asked me a question. I said, well, this is why immigrants, and let me not even talk about, I want to highlight like Mexicans, because the Mexican guy was there. I said, this is why the immigrants, and I pointed at him, going to take everybody ass over. It's no way to possibly stop it, because they come here bonded, ready to outwork anybody. They are just hustling. When you talk about the amazing race, I said life is a competition. It is a race against your peers. There's no way one man, the average man, is going to beat those 2 people or 3 people or 4 people hustling. There's no way you're going to do it. So I said, your wife is probably giving into this spirit of entitlement because of what you make that she don't want to contribute no more. I said, you can't be so coy, you can't be so casual about it, because she needs clear directives so clear that she feels like you're gonna leave her ass, which is unfortunate because that's probably to his detriment too, right? But oh god, I see somebody in the back. This is about to get good. All right, everybody, welcome. Our
Hello.
first terrorist came. Woo!
Hello, everyone.
All right, so Anna, I'm gonna
How
just
we
go straight to you.
doing? How are y'all?
What's
Why are you
going on?
screaming? Why your
In
microphone
fact,
so loud?
Anna, give me 1 second. Let me read these super chats. I appreciate the super chats. Let me read them real quick. My man King Spark, thank you for your support. True, it will never be 50-50. Advanced perception, $5. 50-50 commonly refers to finance, but in reality, it's based on the effort and efficiency of both partners and how they contribute to the household. My man, excellent explanation. Ennis, did you hear what I said? Shout out to Ricky. I don't even know why I said that. I felt like the drop should have been right there. Charlene Roll, $5. Don't lie on Gen X. It started with baby boomers. Gen KS already explained why. I could have been wrong. I am 100% open to being corrected. Mr. Rich, folks, hit that like button. It's free right now. Hit that like button if you have not. We got over 3 people in here, and I believe we only have less than half the likes. Hit that like button right now. Hit that like button right now. Lou the Legend says, oh, I highlighted this comment. Average monthly rent is 1.7K. Women need to work. I don't know, Lou. I disagree. Because here's the funny thing about America. When they do these stats about women needing to work, it's about maintaining what the average American has. All right. They're talking about 2 cars and your own space. The one thing I've noticed Americans are not willing to sacrifice is personal space. Who the hell said y'all had to live alone? Who the hell said one family had to be in a 3,000 square foot home? Nobody said that. But people want luxury, right? So, yeah, if you're not willing to make any concessions, sure, your wife may need to work. But if y'all willing to hold it down, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I could do it all over again, you see the way I got a dude, the family that lives 3 doors down. They got like 4 families in there, bro, and they all drive luxury cars. They all probably paying $400 a month to pay that mortgage. Every family that's in there to pay that mortgage. I would do it that way. Save all my bread up. I'm just saying. All right, Anna, what you got
Hey,
on
you
it?
think black people could really? You think
Bye.
black Americans can do that?
No, I don't think they can. They need to learn how.
Yeah, because we can't even get along as a culture.
They can't
So
even live with their boyfriend. How the hell they gonna live with,
Exactly. 3
exactly.
other families. That's what
They
I
need
was.
to learn how. That's what I'm saying. You can't be complaining about the cost of rent and not trying to find a way to subsidize it. It makes no sense to me. Anna, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to come up here and show my support. I really love you, Trigger Mike. I really love everyone else up here. Hello, Passport Bros. I Filipino. As you can see, you see my Asian eyes. I'm Filipino. I come from the
Kind of
Philippines,
racist.
and yeah, I love black men. I love
Oh,
everyone.
you trolling.
Yeah, she switch up her racial identity every other week.
But no, as far as no, I come from a Hispanic background. Right now, I'm Mexican. I come from a Hispanic background. My mom is Hispanic, and they do that. They all share one big old tiny house, or one tiny house. All split the rent and start saving, and they profit off of that. But I've noticed it doesn't really. It'll probably help like one family member get to like a successful place, but like it's like everybody's not really on the same page. Because if you think of it, those Hispanic family members. Oh my goodness, how much to boot me off? Ugh. I've already made someone cry already. I'm so tired of this. Ugh. Anyway, I noticed in a Hispanic households, like 50, not even that, so like 20 years later, it's still that they're like still in the same spot with splitting the rent. So like I just don't know, like like I think it's a good idea. Yes, it is. But it's like so many people don't really know how to cope with doing that. They don't know how to save money. You have all of that extra leftover money after paying $200, and then like you just don't know. You just go out and spend it. So it is a good idea, honestly. But honestly, I know. Okay, so on my Hispanic side it'll work, but my black side, I don't know how.
Dub Will. Dub Will.
no.
Salute to Dub Will. He said, all right, got you.
What was that about?
Damn, Dub Will.
He said, got you. It was about disrupting the panel. That's what it was about.
Damn.
Dub,
I've
salute
seen her
to Dub
before.
Will.
She's just a troll. I've seen her before.
man,
She a
Dub
troll.
Yeah,
Will.
she comes through like that. Yeah.
Damn. All
So
right, panel wars. If you hear crazy stuff, $50 to get them off. All right. My man Dub Will says swiftly, expeditiously. I didn't think he was gonna do that. All right. King Spark, did we get to you on this?
Yeah, I was saying about the Amazing Race and all that stuff.
Yep. Israel.
what's up, brother?
If a woman won't contribute, is she a bad candidate for marriage?
Okay, can you qualify that a little bit? What are you saying?
Like financially, if she just won't get with your program, won't work with you.
Oh, absolutely, she's a bad candidate. Yeah, absolutely, she's a bad candidate for marriage. Because if she's not willing to get on your program, if she's not willing to contribute to whatever the needs of the relationship is to make it grow and flourish and blossom, then how could you possibly work with her to begin with?
That is true. Patty, what you got?
I'll pass mine. I'll pass mine. I know this is not normal, but I will relinquish my time.
I yield my time.
Yeah, I yield my time.
My man Big Ant said, "How much to boot me? If you boot me, the show over." Nah, it's not. I don't know, Big Ant. Let me think on it. I'm a highly valuable asset in these streets. All right, Mr. Rich.
Yeah, man. If she doesn't want to contribute, let's look at it this way. Can she contribute? If the answer to that is that she's not working and you want to marry her, that's one thing. But if she can't contribute and she doesn't want to, it's still your fault if you marry this woman.
Yep.
Especially if that's not part of your plan. And going back to Fatty, he said something like, she might say something one day and then change her mind the next once you get married, 3-4 years down the road. But that's with every single thing, not just this issue. Right? And a woman could change her mind with no matter what you say to her and agree, but that goes to her character. So that's something you have to be able to vet as best you can.
No, but there's women in general.
No.
So,
But listen, once you say that, then we have to go anecdotal, right?
Let me ask you a question then, Mr. Penn. Let me ask you a question then. Are you the leader of your household?
Yes, I am.
If for the next 6 months you start doing everything that your wife doesn't want you to do, is she going to? One second, please.
I missed what you just said. Say it again.
I would say it slowly. If for the next 6 months you go against everything that your wife wants you to do you think she's going, like, let me not put on you. Do you think if any man, for 6 months will go against every decision that the woman is on that? Sorry.
No, I'm with you. I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Do you think she's going to stay?
Well, you assume that my wife is that kind of demanding woman.
No, I took it out of you.
No. But what I'm saying is,
men in general.
Well, no. But the point is that there's different kind of women out there. There's some women who are demanding, and some women want stuff, but the shit that they want is within the plan. Right? So my wife doesn't have to ask for some stuff. So you got to take into account the whole thing. Because I understand what you're saying. Is there a point where my wife wasn't completely happy? Or so she went through all kinds of roller coaster shit in 35 years. But she's still there. Let's take it to the regular guy. Yes. We can't speak for every regular guy. In general, we know that there's a lot of selfish women out there.
She will leave. 90% of them will leave.
Well, that's whatever the statistics say. But I'm just saying, a lot of that shit could have been avoided if the guys had meaningful conversations to begin with.
But that's.
I just think so. I just think that's part of it. You can't ignore that.
But Fatty, what's your point though, Fatty?
The point is, women write their word in sand. Whenever a wave comes, the word disappears. Like, women have the right to revoke their opinion, and if they do it, it's fine because they deserve to be happy. Okay. So that's
No.
not the reality.
What I'm saying is,
That's not the
she do
reality
that,
right
but
now.
that doesn't. No, Fatty, wait a minute. Okay, so listen, I hear what you're saying, but the
Yes.
truth of the matter is, when a woman gets out of pocket, you still got to have balls enough to say, wait a minute.
That's
That's the
right.
point. You don't just let that shit go.
It's called a check.
But
Yes,
Mr.
called
Rich,
checking, Fatty.
Mr. Rich, hold on,
but
Mr. Rich,
but you have no
Mr. Rich.
choice
The
if she
thing is,
doesn't,
you've been married. You've been married as long as Fatty's been alive. So his perspective is not gonna be the same as yours, Mr. Rich. But the
Right, I
truth
know.
is, you've been married as long as he's been alive. So he don't understand that you've been married for 35 years. So you know what I mean? It's a
I hear
difference.
that, but you know what? My wife is not invisible to the world. She got people she knows. The fact that she's not tainted, and it's not like I hadn't had to check her a couple of times. And every so often, I might say some shit to her. Like, for example, I can't curse now. I didn't know that going in because I got a potty mouth and shit. So when I talk to her, if I drop the F-bomb, it's over. Anything we had to, I could be dead right, but if I say, F this, F that, the conversation's over. She will walk away. She won't listen. So she checked me on that. And I was man enough to say, okay, when I argue with you or if we have a discussion, I won't use the F-bomb. Actually, she gets mad when I don't, so she can't run away.
Aren't you the leader of your relationship? You should be willing to say whatever the fuck you want. Sorry,
oh man, Fatty, that's not how the world works.
No,
man.
but that's my point. That's exactly my point. Your wife introduced a new rule after you guys got married. It was not before, it was after. And what did you do? You complied, because if you didn't comply,
because it was reasonable.
No, but you see my point.
About, man? Are you kidding me? We've been married 35. Let me just say this, and we can move on. We've been married for 35 years. I was in the car. My wife told me a story about her life that she never told me before. It was 35 years. I'm still learning some shit about this chick, man. I mean, are you kidding me? So she gave me a check on me cursing when we talk, and I'm supposed to walk out and get a divorce over that? What the freak are you talking about?
Hey, Fatty, we'll come back to you in a minute.
Just one second before you move you prove my point. You came on a marriage with a certain set of rules. For some reason, during the marriage, she said, I don't want you to curse anymore. And every time you do, she gets upset at you and she pouts, right?
But that's
you know what? One second.
But that's okay though. That's okay.
I understand.
That's okay, Fatty. Like that's
so
all right.
So Fatty.
That's okay. That's okay. I agree with you. It's fine.
It's okay.
But that's a little example about woman coming on a marriage changing their mind.
Right, let's go to Poke Man.
And either the man says yes, miss, and he complies, and everything is good, or she's going to have trouble.
Let's go to
He has a 35 years successful marriage, though. His marriage is successful 35 years.
Okay,
that don't count for nothing.
Hey, you guys.
All right, let's go to Poke Man. Go ahead, Poke Man.
You're killing me, man. Hey, so a part of what Fatty was saying in the beginning, it kind of got wedged in my understanding, because we don't have a point where we're transitioning from our youth to adulthood, especially coming from single mother household. So when we are in transition, it's good to build ourselves up and not get into these relationships. Although we riding, we rolling, we making money. At the time I had 3 jobs, couldn't see where the money was going, but I always had money, always had provisions, so there was always women that were like satellites, will come over, clean the house, cook things for you, every now and then it'd be some, friendly activities, between some certain times, but 50-50 is a perception. And if a woman can't contribute anything, then like my man Payne was saying, like she can't go. We can't progress together. You know what I mean? That's all I got.
Cali Bear, what do you contribute? No, I'm just saying. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The
Go
conversation
ahead, go
into
ahead.
my house.
Both.
Nah, I think that y'all, from what I heard so far, because I just,
tuned in about maybe 30 minutes ago, my lunch break, and it sounded like y'all turning this into rocket science. It's really not that deep. If you got a wife that, is not working, then, she's going to be primarily doing the household stuff. If you got a wife that does work, you're probably going to end up sharing some of those household duties. I mean, what else is there to say? How are we drawing this conversation all on for hours? It's not that deep.
It really is.
It's called content strategy, Callie Bev.
I just went down to wash my clothes. I should have waited for my wife to come home. I just put it in the dryer. Not monitoring.
Now, see, if I was to ever ask my husband to wash to do some kind of laundry or something like that, it would be something like put it in the dryer, because I don't want him touching my washing machine. You know what I mean? Like, this got to be cold water, this got to be warm water, all that kind of stuff. I don't even feel like being bothered, And don't fold my towels. I'll fold my towels the way I want them to be folded. That kind of. I mean, it just ends up working out. Like, it's not even that deep. Y'all gotta have a term for every damn thing.
But that's variable.
I agree with you. Who next?
But look, King Spark, the topic is do 50, you know what I'm saying? This is the topic about 50-50 in relationships. So we can't just, what I'm saying, shut the conversation. Yeah. Come on now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever you make it out to be in your relationship. Your 50-50 might look different from my 50-50. Or,
but Callie, can Trigger Mike have a whole show though, Callie Bev? You just want to shut the whole show down. Can he have a whole show?
Not literally, but this has been an ongoing conversation for at least 2 years.
Well, Trigger Mike just brought it up today.
An ongoing conversation that we just started talking about. Okay. All right, my man. Hustle went first. Neighborhood, what's going on?
Good afternoon.
Neighborhood adjuster, what's up? What you got on it? Do you think a woman that won't financially contribute is a good candidate for marriage? Why or why not?
In short, if a woman is not providing financially, her intangibles at that point need to be very present. And I can speak from my own personal experience, because that's what I'm going to always draw from. I remember when I was a younger man, my 2 youngest children's mother was 8 months pregnant with our son when I was walking across the stage to get my undergrad degree. At that time, I was a loss control manager for Kmart. I got her a job as an exit monitor. People that used to check the receipts, sitting on a stool pregnant so I could maintain observation while she was able to garner a check to provide for our home at the time, which we were, young children, 20, 21 years old. Mm-hmm. But what I can say to speak to would end up being a ever-present, dominating elephant in the room was that she wanted to aspire to do everything but be a wife and a mother when she was pregnant in college, about to attempt to obtain her undergrad degree. Because after she had subsequent first child, she could not work. So she had to stay home. And that even provided more fervor to the aspirations of wanting to get out of the house. And would end up being the determining factor on our relationship dissolving was her ambition and aspirations to be everything but a mother and a wife. And that was why we did not get married. That is why she went out to obtain a job in the workforce and became a single mother, which hence she is still to this day. So I will end it with that a woman that does not want to contribute to the home as a mother and a wife, they want to contribute as a financial partner. It is a road to destruction with respect to a relationship or a marriage, period.
My man.
Boo! Not for him.
If you don't sit your all right, sir.
Callie is crazy.
My man, I'm still reeling from sir calling the entire human race some hoes. Was that sir the other day? He's like,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you a hoe. All right, your go.
I would tell you, if she's unwilling, then throw her in the trash or leave her where you found her. She's no good.
Okay. Damn, mic drop just like that.
My mic is muted.
Yep, straight up. Bath Shua, did you? She didn't go on this, but you there?
Yes, I'm here.
If you had a son, or you do have a son, don't you?
Unfortunately, I have no children, and my husband only has an adult daughter.
Okay. If you had a son, do you think you would, if he brought you a woman that said, while you were conversing with her, that she would not financially contribute to the home in any way, shape, or form, and she was against it, would you consider her a bad candidate for marriage for him?
I absolutely would, because what would he need her for? What exactly would he need to partner up with her for if she's not going to contribute?
I
That's
can
just
answer
dead
that.
weight.
You know the answer to that.
That's just dead weight. That's like him caring for another child. We don't expect children to be responsible. But if you're an adult and if you're in a relationship and you're partnering and doing life with someone, it should be expected for you to help build, and contribute. It's that simple. Otherwise, just be by yourself.
Bet. Everybody got a chance to go on this? Let's read the super chats. Let me do another super chat break. We got a bunch. Oh, came through. All right. Ennis Luby, $5 or foreign currency. A Hink and the Hustle Show, that would be fire. They both got the same energy. I think so too. Dub Will said, how much to boot Anna? And then how much to boot Mike? Forget you, man. Dub Will said, bye with $50. Ennis said, this is for Fatty. Fatty, your timeout. Come back in about 8 minutes or 7 minutes. Your timeout is over. You got timed out. Big Ant says, Mike, why do we have all these rules and expectations for someone else to be in our lives, but when you look in the mirror, you haven't reached that point yourself? I don't know exactly what you mean by this, but what I will say, and this was a question that's actually coming up, what does a man need to have to even require this from a woman? He needs to be able to take care of himself, plain and simple. We are not advocating that a man get married for the sole purpose of having help. The number one across cultures, the most men are eligible for a wife if they can take care of themselves and put a roof over their own head. People, it's not that hard. If you putting a roof over your head, she's just going to move in with you. Okay? She's actually going to save you money. You can buy food for her to cook, or y'all cook together, whatever, however you do it. This is how it's done. Y'all take care of each other. You keep that roof that you were keeping over your head now over y'all head. You can bring children into that situation in a moderate fashion. You can wait till you get promoted, till you scale up, manage your finances, right? Scale some things down. I've known people, to be honest, who sold their expensive ass car because that car note was too high simply because they got that baby on the way. All right. There's a million ways to do this. Be responsible, people. And the funny thing about it, when people find themselves in this situation I'm talking about, where they want to advance for their family's sake, the woman is always willing to contribute. Right? Let me go out here and be a teacher's aide. Because it's free, or let me go work at the daycare because it's free childcare. Let me go do all this type. Women are always willing to contribute so the family can accelerate faster. A man should never be asking a woman to do this so he himself can live. He should be able to take care of himself at the very least. I'm never advocating for anything else. All right, next question. We're going to start with King Spark again. In a perfect world, what should a woman financially contribute to the relationship or marriage? Give me your exact situation and outlook. In a perfect world.
In a perfect world, what should she contribute? I guess it takes whatever she's competent to contribute. You know what I mean? Whatever level she on. So like my lady at home, right? like she's a medical professional. You know what I'm saying? Like she gets to the bag a little bit, right? But at the same time, her duties are quite kind of lax a little bit. You know what I mean? She don't even got to be nowhere at no certain time. Once she open her laptop and answer a few phone calls, right? If that could get you what she make, which is pretty significant, then that's what you need to be bringing in. You know, that's what you need to be putting in. You know, now if your woman is less competent, you know, and she only know how to suck and, you know what I'm saying, then then she contribute less. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends. Yeah, it all depends. In a perfect world, you got to work with what you got, man. You know. But at best though, the best I was gonna say, the best a woman could get, or the best my lady could get, is to be my personal assistant at all times. So you always gonna be doing something. There is no just leisure. You either gonna be going to get the dry cleaning, or you going to be go get the food, or you going to be putting in paperwork, or you gonna be, you know, sometimes I might tell my lady, Google such and such. I got a phone, I got Google, but that's the point. I still need you to do something for that.
Yo, you said something that's actually really important to note. Women need to be doing something. I don't know why or how we got here where women started advocating to sit on their ass. Not only is it not uh, beneficial to your family, not only is it not desirable to men that you do that, women have never done that. Women have always worked. And the worst part about it is that women are asking not only to not work, but drain you and drain the family's assets because of the things that they want. Right. So I think you were very profound in saying that without even knowing it. King Spark, Israel. What in a perfect world, what do you believe a woman should financially contribute?
All right. So King Spark always take my stuff, man. King Spark be kicking that the real facts. So salute to him. But so Trigger Mike, can I flip that a little bit, because I don't really, to be honest, I don't really look to a woman to contribute anything specific financially, right?
You
For
know what?
me, for me, my thing is more so about feeling, to me, like a man and a woman coming together should complete each other, right? The woman
Yeah.
should have gifts and skills and things that the man may not necessarily have, and the man should have gifts and skills and things that the woman should not necessarily have, and they bring those things together and they make a whole situation and makes everything abundantly better, right? So for me, it's not so much about the money as it is about her feeling the gaps and the things that are needed in the situation, right? So
Yeah.
ideally, the woman would be a person that fills those gaps and enhances the situation. A helpmeet, like they say in the Bible, a helpmeet, a woman who's able to help meet the needs of the family, of the unit, of the marriage. You know what I'm saying? So that's more so what I would look for, and more so what I would think is ideal. Not
That's dope. I
necessarily no
mean,
money.
I think so. You're saying that your goal is to find a woman that is actually just willing to do that part.
Yeah, more, but not only willing. Wait, let me say this: not only willing, happy to do it. I
Oh
want
yeah.
a woman. I want a woman who
Oh yeah.
gets pleasure and enjoyment
And
and
service.
fulfillment out of serving the marriage and serving her man, serving me as her man, and making sure that we are winning. That makes her feel good. That gives her a sense of pride. That gives her a sense of accomplishment to have contributed to the winningness of her marriage and her relationship and her family.
All
That's
right.
what I think.
So just a follow-up question, because what you basically just did is give a commercial for the Passport Brothers. Um, what percentage of women in the US do you think get joy from serving their husband and their family?
In modern times, I'd say about 25%. 20,
I
20,
think I, I think
25%.
I think that's a pretty low percentage, man.
Yeah, it is,
I agree, but I
unfortunately.
feel like it's pretty low. That's why I said you just gave that's the advertisement. That's why these dudes, y'all think they out here just trying to go chase tail, which some of them might be. But even they don't even want to, because people think it's about marriage. I don't think it's about marriage. They don't even want to date here. Everything that, some of them are really young, 21, 22, 23. they're dating. The average age of first marriage for a man is 29. So they don't even want to date American women. They don't want to be involved. They want to go date women over there. So I think I think they understand that the threat that women that want to serve is rare as well.
But Trigger Mike, just to say this, I don't have nothing against passport bros. And I would never talk against them. I just would like to hope and believe that maybe I could find a woman in my own backyard, in my own circumference, that would be able to fill those needs, and that would be, happy and willing and excited about the possibility of creating something better.
That's what this show is actually about. Because when I think about it, black men still want black women, bro. It's the only reason we're mad at each other. It's the only reason people even I don't think women understand men that well. Because once we stop talking, y'all are screwed. Once we stop talking, y'all are screwed. We talking. That is only because the men still want you.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you, Wife School.
Yeah. So, Mr. Rich, y'all keep it going around. Keep it respectful. I'm gonna drop down so EBD can come up.
All right. Hey, listen. So, in a perfect world, I just want my wife to be willing to do, because Israel said it really well. I just want her to be willing to do the things I need to have done in return for my 4 P's, my protection and my provision, my problem solving, my procreation. I want her to be nurturing, right? I just, I have a couple of things. I want her to be nurturing. I want her to respect me. I want her to be exclusive. I want her to provide access when I need it. And I think that's a mutual thing. I mean, I'm not going to just go ahead and force myself on her, but the fact that she still wants to have access, I mean, I got it to the point where I could even turn the light on now in the corner, so, so I want those little bit of things from her in return for everything I give her. And I get that from her. So so we got a nice little relationship going on, and we've been doing it for a long time. She raised my daughters, she nurtured them. They're I don't consider them like modern women like this out there on the street. I got them to adulthood without having babies and stuff like that or any crazy things. And now everything's up to them. One's 30 and one's 23, and whatever they do from now on, is I just, if they want my advice, I give it to them. But I raised them, and they're smart. They are independent, but they understand that they shouldn't be alone, because I tell them about having a cover of a man, maybe not now, but in their later years. So again, I'm pretty much maybe an outlier, but I don't think so. And I agree with your 25 to 30%. The only thing about the passport bros, I can't stand hearing, especially from women, that they might go abroad to get sex, right? So what? If they're here, they're going to get sex here, right? And it's all transactional here, right? Black women are the most transactional women in the world right now, so a whole lot of them, so if they go abroad to have fun and they have women that are a little bit more nurturing, a little bit more fun to be with, then the more power to them. Let's get off those brothers' backs, because when we start looking at what the women do on their goddamn road trips, it's horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. So anyway, that's all I have. Go ahead, Pope Man.
Yeah, to piggyback off what you just said, I watched that whole Dennis Sperling thing, and I got into that Beautiful Lies thing, and that's a whole nother situation. I almost to the point where I'm like asking my wife, I say, babe, I think we all need to go over there and let them get acclimated to the area. But I think in a perfect world, we would want to find someone that's content with what we bring to the table, each one of us, and we should, like, I'm in my house, I'm the one who got the garden. I got the rosemary bush, I got the apple tree on the side, I got the orange in the front of the house, I'm about to put a waterfall in the front, I mean, I'm the outside, she the inside, Whenever I get a phone call, I'm running, to do plumbing jobs, She handles paperwork and, homeschooling, and, ever since the pandemic, she ain't never went back to work. Like, you got to find a cohesive situation. Now, my girl Callie said this ain't rocket science, but it's most definitely finding somebody that you vibe with, and it's variables that you have to work with. As soon as you're not content, we need to have a conversation. You know, to be able to be and not be too big for each other, bumping heads, figuring, you know, I want things my way, you know, because a lot of what I sit my sons down, I sit my sons down and let them watch these panels all the time, and I'll pause and we can talk it out. And do you understand what they just said? Do you understand what it is that he just and I want you to break it down for me so I can understand that you understand. You know what I mean? I got my baby girl, you know, I'm her covering right now. Pain, you know, you said until she has a covering, I'm her covering right now. Everybody know. You come close to him, you might wake up in a little bit, you know, but because you know we gonna deal with you. But on that note, I'm gonna let it ride.
Hey, look, man, let me add something to the covering. And I told my daughters this. I said, you guys might not realize this, but I can't sleep at night until I know I'm handing you over to a man that's going to be able to take care of you. You know, I mean, it's an exaggeration. I can't sleep at night, but I still worry about it. One's out of the house, the other one's still here, but she's on her merry way. She travels, she does this, and she still lets me know where she's at. But until she's got a cover of a dude that I could trust, you know, it's still my responsibility. You know, and I made sure they understand that. I said, you might not think much of it, but you know, I'm not going to advocate that, you know, until you guys show me somebody I can shake hands with, just like I did with your mother's father. You know, so that's a good point.
Hey, Colin.
In a perfect world, what should a woman financially contribute to the relationship or marriage? Whatever it is that you need her to contribute in order to live the lifestyle that y'all want to live and y'all agreed to live together. Like, okay, that's certain, you know, I've been married for 16 years, together for 22. And the thing is that when we were young, you know, we didn't really have a whole lot of responsibilities or anything like that, you know. I worked a little part-time job or whatever, you know, wasn't no big deal. Rent wasn't even that high yet, you know. But once we wanted to move on, we had our first child, we wanted to move into a bigger place, get out of these apartments, this, that, and the third, move to a better neighborhood or whatever. Then we came together and was like, okay, this is what we're going to do in order to get to this point. It wasn't him necessarily dictating to me, this is what we gonna do. No, it was a collaborative effort. I have some ideas, he has some ideas or whatever, and then, you know, he takes the information and makes, you know, the decision. You know what I'm saying? It's simple shit, you know, stuff. Sorry, simple stuff. We had, you know, another kid. That one was planned, you know, so we pretty much had all our ducks in a row. Once we got the third kid, he snuck in there. His middle name should be Patron, but the third kid snuck in there, and it was like, okay, so for real, what are we finna do, like, for real this time? So it ended up being, you know, he needed to move to a different barbershop or whatever, the ones that had more clients in there, and I needed to go ahead and look for another position, because the position that I did have at the company that I'm at right now, answering them phones was stressing me out, putting me in a bad mood, things like that. So I had to look for a different job within the same company, making more money. You know what I'm saying? So you just do what you got to do. You come together. There's no, oh, this isn't working out, I'm going to just dip. No, stuff typically does not work that way. Typically, words are spoken to each other before you go on ahead and you make drastic decisions, especially if you've already put years into if you've already put years into the relationship. So nothing like this just happens overnight, boom bam, all of a sudden my whole world is upside down, somebody knocked over my boxes. It doesn't happen that way. So I would really wish that certain conversations wouldn't sound like everything is just happening all of a sudden and the woman just left. You know, no, it typically doesn't happen that way, especially if you've got years in. And I'm gonna move on because I'm rambling now.
All right, into Black Dragon.
Yeah. So when it comes to answering the question, like what should they financially contribute to the relationship or marriage, I'll answer that real quick with just I think that the man, I mean, during the terms of negotiations, when you're hashing out, you know, who's gonna do what and who's gonna bring what to the relationship long term. It's one of those things that you talk about, that you negotiate during your lifetime in your career, for your job, how much money you expect to be making. When you start living together, you start to get an idea of who can bring what. And within the confines of a household, you can hash out kind of the details when you're first starting to live together and really get to know one another when you're waking up next to each other in the morning, right? So beyond that, let's say we're talking about you've been together, now you live together, now you think you might be ready for the next step, which is marriage. You pretty much have 90% of what you're what your expectations are by living with said someone for a while, especially more than a few years. So what she should bring, for me personally, I would think that the woman that I'm seeing and eventually gonna wind up being in a relationship and marrying, I would want her money to at least some of it go to recreation, our recreation, things that we like to do and go out. Not go out as in dinner, but go out as in like vacation. Every couple months, we should plan to go somewhere and do something like as a couple, and whatever money that she makes could be used strictly for that. Um, Not to say that I'm too cheap to pay for a vacation, but I'm just saying if she needs to contribute anything, I would think it'd be more recreational things rather than something that's foundational or hardcore, has to be bill paid. Because if something happens with her job, or if something happens with kids, or some family member needs taken care of, I want to give her the option to be able to step away from her career or her job in order to kind of um, play that kind of role. So I just want like my woman to have not feel obligated to contribute to the household. I need her to feel like it's optional, but it's an option that I give her. It's not an option that she gives herself. So that's kind of how I would kind of see that playing out.
Cool. Sugar Curl Salon.
Hey, good afternoon. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. So we're answering the question about, in a perfect world, what should a woman contribute financially? I think that is something that's discussed prior to the marriage or the union. And I do think it's something that the man should initiate and let the woman know, hey, this is what I'm taking care of. This is what I need from you. Are you able to contribute in this way? And I do think that at some point in the relationship, as it goes on, that may change. Circumstances may change, the financial income may change. So the woman, I do think, needs to be adaptable and be willing to change and adjust. She may need to contribute more down the line. She may need to work an extra day. Um, it may be a situation where the family head says, okay, well, you've been doing well. Thank you for your help. You can take a couple of days off for this year. So I just think it needs to be communicated, and the woman has to be adaptable.
Okay, thank you. All right, Bashua.
Hi, I'm here. To the question, in a perfect world, what should a woman contribute financially? I'm gonna somewhat piggyback off of what Callie said. Whatever it depends. Whatever is needed to for the family or the couple to achieve what they want, in life, in the life that they want to live. And as I mentioned in my one response to the other question, it's all about priorities. And as Sugar Curl says, this is something that should have been discussed prior to a relationship and or marriage. Um, in my husband's home, when we first got together, because I moved into his house, I asked him, how can I contribute? And he told me he didn't need anything. He didn't need my money. He took care of the bills. He took care of the mortgage. However, I noticed that with that, there was an issue regarding food. So I said, okay, let me at least provide the groceries. And to this very day, I still buy the groceries. So it is something that again needs to be discussed. And once discussed, it should be followed through. There shouldn't be any reneging. There shouldn't be any changing of minds unless somehow things adjust. If a financial situation changes, you have to adjust and adapt, as I heard earlier. And it'll work from there. Communication is key.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, he sounds like a very smart man, a very brilliant man, because that's definitely the way it should be. You should, as a man, you should have your own situation and then bring your woman into your situation. And it usually works out a lot better like that. And then it's easier for you to say, okay, well, wife, your money will go here, or what do you think about your money going here, your money going there, and then you take this, and that you generally works better in my experience. H&M, what's up, brother? What say you? Hustler, you there? You there, fam?
Well, I guess he's not there. Let me think. What do I think on this question? In a perfect world, what would a woman contribute? Let me tell you what I'm actually going to say to this. In a perfect world, yes, she's going to need to contribute exactly what is necessary to uphold, like, because I came at this from an angle where you got to think about the type of woman you marry. That's really the first part. If we're talking like Sugar Curl said about our goals beforehand, we got to realize a lot of women in our community are not willing to live under what we can provide. That other cultures do that. They do it very well, as a matter of fact. They'll stay in that 1-bedroom apartment and save and save. They'll drive one car. They will ride the bus. I don't know a black woman that'll currently ride the bus while she's married. I don't know one. If anybody does, let me know. So you got to understand the woman you're with and then adjust accordingly. If there are some societal norms that we just don't get down with as people, but you're going to marry her anyway, then be like, all right, well, you kind of like lavish things. And I don't like that thing we say where it's like, if she can provide this for herself. Remember, let me debunk that real quick. The average American doesn't have $400 of emergency cash in their account. Women that are providing things for themselves are living beyond their means. Okay, so she's going to have to scale that down and live realistically. Whatever I need her to provide so we can live realistically. If we have one kid, right, and then another kid, and we want to maintain whatever we have, that's what I need from her. But and whatever that is, because it can change or whatever. So let me start with the men. Israel, you're first on this one. In a perfect world, what would you want to provide as a man? What would you want to provide for your family?
In a perfect, well, let me address this. No, we wouldn't, wife. I think it's Witty Jen. We wouldn't want our wife riding the bus. It would be the man that would ride the bus and the wife maybe drive the car. You heard? But anyway, so for me, everything, what I'm saying, in a perfect world, I would want to provide everything for my family. You know what I'm saying? I would want to be able to take care of everything that they need, give them everything that they need. It wouldn't be no sweat off my back, you know what I'm saying? Because as a man, I feel like that's my duty.
All right, bet. I'm going to go actually on this one. I thought about this a lot. So what would I want to provide for my family? So naturally, I would have said the exact same thing you said, Israel. I would have said the exact same thing you said. I want to provide everything. I think that's actually the problem. Not in the general sense of provision. I think in this particular society, this materialistic society, that's how we got here in the first place. When men do get the bag, we actually do too much. And here's what I mean by that. Jordan Peterson put out a clip on his Instagram page. And naturally, when you ask people what they want and what would clear up all their life problems, what do they say?
Money.
They say money. But most of us give too much in the sense that we'll take away somebody else's responsibility. So the reason we got lazy women is because they're either thinking they deserve too much, or somebody's actually giving them too much. So they have a sense of entitlement, as we've already talked about. So I would never give so much that I would take away their responsibility from them, which keeps them active, which keeps them, hustling a little bit, and then also gives them a sense of entitlement to where they want more. I have never seen somebody be entitled and want less of something. They always progressively want more. So I would give my family literally like everything they need, some of what a reasonable amount of what they want. This is why some dads, like the best dads, that first car you get is usually a piece of trash, no matter what he can afford. He'd be like, "This is the way it's the wife probably want the car for show. We doing well now. We can get him a brand new car. And this car is supposed to be like that. It's his
Because it
first
builds
car.
character. It builds character.
Exactly. It's because if I give him everything up front, he never gonna think he got to work for it. What do they call it now? Affluenza. They call it affluenza. These rich kids think they deserve Corvettes on their 16th birthday. I never wanna do that in my own home. So that's where I'm coming from with it. King Spark, in a perfect world, what would you provide for your family? What would you want to? Oh, no, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Nah.
You're muted, King Spark.
Yeah. Go out and come back in, Mr. Rich.
Okay. Listen, I go back to again. I don't want to say poison. I'm just educated by listening to Crimson Cure, because I think about what I give my wife, and it's all encompassed in those 4 P's. It really is. The provision, the protection, the procreation, the problem solving, everything I do for my family and for my wife is, I can tie to those 4 P's. I'm an engineer by education, and I'm kind of anal. So one of the things I sit down with my wife is and tell her everywhere everything is every quarter. Here's what's going on. Since I pay all the bills, I mean, I just want her to be able to know where everything's at. So I actually have a flow chart of how the money flows into our house, how it gets processed, and how it flows out. It's a pictorial representation of how the money flows. What's being paid automatically, what has to need manual input. And so if something happens to me, as long as these accounts are funded, it just keeps flowing. And these are the kind of conversations I have with her. I said, listen, this is what I'm doing for you. And, this is what I'm doing for the family. So I also have a spreadsheet of all the, it's so crazy, that I have all this stuff done, because I think it was like kind of normal that you should have all of this stuff done. But, so I give her all that. It's not just money. It's just the comfort. It's all the other stuff that, a woman might want from somebody. We get busy, we do this, we do that. I mean, it's just kind of weird. And I've been encapsulated in this relationship for so long, I kind of feel, kind of sorry for everybody who can't have that, because I would like that for my daughters. And the modern woman many modern women have priced themselves outside of the market, and that's unfortunate for them. As it's unfortunate for the men, because they got to look a little deeper for wives, but the women themselves are going to be so bad off in the next 10 years that it's sad. It's a crisis. And a lot of them don't really know it, except if you start looking at these damn shows with the Vivica Foxes and all those women who look like they're weaned on pickles and shit. They're past their goddamn prime. They don't have no man, no kids. Some of them do, but they're so miserable. And it's just a portent of things to come, because they bought into this horse shit by white feminism, because white women don't even believe that no more. So it's sad. So I give my wife what she needs from me. She gives me what I need from her, and we just move on. And we have meaningful conversations all the time. Like, if, for example, like, somebody said, well, Rich, you ever thought your wife cheated on you? I'm gonna just throw that out. Well, no, I don't. But I told her if she ever did, I better never find out. I don't give a shit. If you're dying and you want to, like, relieve your soul, and take that shit to your grave with you. You know what I'm saying? Don't be putting that shit on me. Just go ahead and die with that shit on your show. That kind of stuff. She laughed, you laugh, and all that kind of stuff. I say, I don't want to know.
I've never envisioned myself. I've never envisioned anybody punching a dead body.
No deathbed confessions. No.
Oh Lord. Oh God.
Nurse come back in.
I never worried about
And that's that Mario one. I don't want to know if you're playing me. Keep it on the low.
Let me end it on this one, right? I never checked her phone. I never checked her phone. She never checks mine. We don't ask each other any of those questions. She got to remind me of what her password is, because I don't even care about it. But we don't do none of that shit that a lot of people do, worrying about this. Where are you? Blah blah blah. Anyway, that's it.
I just had one question. If she were on her deathbed and she is about to say something that you don't want to know, but she's just like, this one dude, I just got to get it out. I gave him a, and then she just dies. Is that gonna would you be able to live with yourself?
No. I said, let me stop you before you even. First of all, here's the thing. I think I would know she's about to say some shit before she says it. I mean, a lot of times we're on that kind of connection. Sometimes we talk to each other without even having to say anything. I mean, it's weird, but when you're around somebody that long, those spiritual connections start to happen. Yeah, but that's it. But I'm sure she won't tell me, because she knows. She knows you take that shit with you. But you know what? I don't envision her going before me. So knock on wood.
Yeah.
All right, Kings Park, you back?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, soldier.
I was just looking for clarification. When you said provide, were you just talking about strictly financially, or?
No, I really want to know what men want to provide for their family in general. Everything you want to provide.
I mean,
it's
honestly,
it's more than financial.
Yeah, but everything. I mean, I'm already providing every goddamn thing anyway, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? But I like my lady to work just to keep her honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing ever came to nobody, so you're not just gonna have your feet up. But in a perfect world, I would like to perfectly provide and also perfectly delegate. You know what I'm saying? What's gonna be done with the resources, and how the household's gonna be ran, and yeah, for sure. I want to be am I not your king? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
You bet. EBD.
Just to keep it kind of short and sweet. Yeah, I'd like to provide. Men already have to come with so much in order to have a dice roll at even sleeping with a woman. So we come pretty much prepackaged up already. We keep facing these levels of rejection until we acquire so much to where a woman or any woman would be happy to accept, whatever we were able to provide. So my provision, everything I've acquired so far has been for me. But when a woman comes in, or if I'm taking on a woman with her children, then everything I start to do is for the family. It's no longer about me anymore when I change my situation. So I mean, I don't mind providing for me if I'm just a single guy, but if it's a family, it's a bigger responsibility, and with that means more control. So I have to have some established order in this household before taking on any major responsibilities of somebody else or their children. So yeah, I want to be able to provide, first of all, the fundamental basics that people are going to need to get by. And for a woman, yeah, I'd really like her to be comfortable in her element, to where she can either keep her job or career going, but it's not going to be the foundation to which this relationship or marriage lasts or works. It'll probably be more on me. I'll take that role. Like Rich said, the 4 Ps. I think I can bring that every day. For a woman, my expectations aren't going to be high, but I'm hoping that in the marriage, especially, that they'll be met. So that's pretty much it. Well, I provide everything.
Okay, so Sugar Curls, in a perfect world, what would you want your husband to provide?
Okay. I would definitely have to say first and foremost would be safety and security. And so that to me would start with just his character. Can I trust him? Can I feel safe around him emotionally? Is he going to honor me after we progress? And that would then let me see, okay, in a household under his roof, this is how I'm going to be honored as his wife. So then I would expect financial provision, definitely. I would expect protection spiritually. I think the spirituality for me is probably the highest one. Does he have a relationship with his creator? Are we on the same page with that relationship? Because I do believe in a threefold cord that in a marriage, yes, we can be good together, but we're stronger with a threefold cord. So protection looks like to me also from a spiritual aspect. When we have problems, when we go through situations, I might not like him sometimes. I might be upsetting him, but how is my relationship with God? How is his relationship to where he can bring us back grounded from a spiritual standpoint? And then I would expect him to provide also from an emotional and mental standpoint. You know, if I'm having a bad day or the kids need something, some support, can he provide that as well? So that's what it looks like for me.
Hey, Sugar Curls, I just got a question real quick. How do you double check or how do you validate that spiritual provision
What do you mean?
in your man? Like, how do you know that your man has the connection with the universe or with said God that he needs to?
Right. So I can speak just from my own experience with my current husband. First and foremost, I would ask him, okay, you know, what is your religious background? Are you a spiritual person? And after that, I would watch and say, okay, if I have problems or questions, where is he going to go to first? Is he going to say from a self standpoint, this is how I would solve it? Or is he saying, you know, let's pray about this. Let's see what the scriptures say about this. How does God feel about this? If there's a decision that needs to be made, is he just running off and making a decision without prayer? Is he running off? Is he trying to see these Bible principles align with his decision? How would God and Jesus feel about? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm in a salon. Sorry. And so then I would also, as we get to know each other, I would see what his routine is. Is he reading the scriptures daily? Is his life aligning with what he's saying? Because a lot of people will read, they'll go to their place of worship. Hey, you know, this Sunday I'm going to the church or my place of worship. But then his lifestyle doesn't align with what he's saying he believes. So I will watch that as well. When we're out together, how is he speaking? How is he conducting himself? And that will let me know how spiritual he is and if it aligns with my spirituality. I hope that answers.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Callie Beth. So in an ideal world, what would you want your husband to provide for your family?
Let's see. I mean, we pretty much straight over here as far as like the basics, you know, protection, you know, he's not a brokey, you know what I'm saying? He's, you know, he's clean, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, I'd say the one thing that I would change per se, if this is a perfect world, I would want him to come outside with me more. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty much basics, you know, day-to-day stuff. We good. I just want him to you know, come out because you know, when we were younger, we did go out and some more, whatever like that. He would go with his friends, I would go with my friends as well. But now that he's older, you know, he got the little gray in his beard and stuff now, he feel like he can't go outside because he's too old to go outside. So I'm just like, look, you good. Come on outside, let's go. I finally got him. This is like a, you know, basically a about 10-year project I've been working on. Every time I take him out somewhere, he ends up having a good time. I have to twist his arm around his back, but you know, he ends up having a good time and he wants to go back. So that's a yay for me. But yeah, just a little bit more casual time. Try to go with your friends. Go outside. Other than that, we good.
Cool beans. So the question is for you, Bashua, in a perfect world, what would you want your husband to provide for your family?
In a perfect world, for one, I would say the 4 Ps. If anything, if we want to keep it simple, I would say the 4 Ps. If we want to get more specific, I always said always wanted to be married to a man who would lead, who would teach, who would guide, and who would direct. And I couldn't ask for anything better than what I have in my husband, because he does exactly that. Since being with him, I have learned so much. Just a little bit of disclosure. My husband and I subscribe to the Hebrew faith, or some people will say Hebrew Israelite. And we're not a part of those camps that are on the corner. In my observation, and I'm not trying to say anything negative, but in my observation, a lot of them who subscribe to those people on the corner, they solely listen to what their leaders say and take everything their leaders say at face value without researching anything. What my husband does, my husband has studied the Hebrew language, the biblical Hebrew language, for years. So he can look at the text in the Old Testament and interpret it in Hebrew. So it's not that my husband tells me things, he shows me. And I have learned, as I mentioned, I've learned a lot since being with him. I don't know, maybe it's because he's an older man. He's 11 years older than me. But I was never one to be, to think that I knew too much. I always said life is like school. You never stop learning. And I take that to heart. So I always wanted a man who would teach and lead and guide and direct. And if I'm wrong, he needs to check me. And there have been times where he has checked me. I didn't get an attitude. I just took it in stride and made the corrections to make sure that it doesn't happen again. But I'm very simple. Lead, teach, and of course provide and protect. And he does all of that. I'm happy. He's happy. He's at peace. That's the most important thing to me. And we're going to continue to live life as we're living.
Salute to you, sis.
Let me just say this. I didn't even ask you this, Bashu. I did not ask you this. I would have put money on it that your husband was older than you, just the way you describe him. And what I'll say, and I'll say it on every panel now, just listening to what women want, because we listen to women too. Like, nobody's ever saying you shouldn't want what you want. I'm saying be realistic about how you can acquire it. So if women want all of these things that they're talking about, I need a man that makes money. I need a man that has his own space, has some assets, can afford me a life to at least scale down so I can raise the children that we're going to have. You need to get with a man at least 10 years older than you. At least 10 years older than you. I advocate that you not put pressure like that on a man that's in your social age group. He don't make more money than you. Gender equality, or the gender pay gap doesn't exist. He's not going to get a job that pays him $160 while you get one that pays $45. That's what y'all thought, that men make more money. We don't actually make more money within the social age that we're together. We don't. So y'all found that out and realized that you got to hustle just as much as he does in order to maintain a life together. Because the funny part is, if he's there, you get no public assistance. That's the funny part. So you both got to be contributing, or you got to be willing to live under what he can provide, which at 20 something or whatever, the average age of first marriage, is not a lot for the average person.
Hey, Trigger Mike, I think Fatty hasn't gone, Pokeman hasn't gone, and R-Pain hasn't gone yet, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, let's get Pokeman. You there?
Yo, yeah.
All right, in a
Man,
perfect world.
in a perfect world, whew, you got to touched on so many things. I done had so many ideas. I hope I can unpack it right. Man, look, we as men were made in God's image, and we are trying to walk in those footsteps that was left before us. So we want to be everything. What God is, that is our purpose. The one who calls us to become. We want to make sure that our provisions are always being taken care of. When we wake up in the morning, we should be doing prayer before and after. We should be going over the scriptures the Bible talks about. We should, when we walking on a road, when we're laying down, when we're getting up at all times, we should be talking with our children, and we are the ones supposed to be instructing our children in a way that we're supposed to be going. Now, when I met my wife, it was a competition. Everybody wanted her at the time. That was way back in 97. You know, we married in 05. Whoo, man, look, I grew up in a cutthroat community from the window, watching it go by in the projects. So I know about struggles and not going back to that. You know, all I want to do is show my children what it means to be owners, to build something, to create a bubble. But you know, not be afraid to get out and take care or handle business as you see fit. You know, we should always be able to take a step back, slow down, not always be on go at all times. Be able to take encouragement from each other. You know, be able to talk to each other. Don't ever be afraid to talk to me about something, man. You know, I might get a little wild sometimes, but you notice that I chill back and and I can formulate our lifestyle and I can articulate it to you, and you can make your own decisions because all I am is guidance. You know what I mean? I'm guidance to my children and covering for my wife and daughter. You know, but I take my children on jobs with me. I got a little gout every now and then. You know, back hurting and starting to get up in age. I'm slowing down. You know, it's time for them to take the mantle. Time to show them what they're supposed to be doing. You know, and eventually, if they want to, you know, unlike me, I'm not gonna kick them out. I was kicked out. I'm not kicking them out. We gonna build together. And I remember they was talking about families being able to live together. My family actually grew up like that. The matriarchy that my grandmother had, everybody was able to come back home. Everybody was able to rebuild and grow together. And I want to recreate that again if possible. I'm done.
Oh, I mean, you will. I mean, if the way I read economic news and stuff, it's about to we going back at least I'll say 50 years pretty
Whether we
soon.
want to or not, huh?
Whether we want to or not, we getting pushed back at least 50 years. All these jobs that are about to get replaced, there about to be so many hey big head texts. I'm sorry, mama. I'm sorry, this person. Can I move back? Oh, it's about to be bad out here, man. But I mean, that's the way it actually is throughout history. Society always corrects the problems that it's suffering from because all of this behavior, entitlement, and everything, it always has an expiration date. Just read your history. I think Mr. Rich went. Anybody didn't go on this?
Fatty didn't. Fatty didn't go yet.
Fatty isn't married yet, but when you do get married, what would you want to provide for your family? Your ideal situation?
If I'm willing to die for them, I'm willing to do everything. I don't care about, like, when I go to dinner. If I have money, I like to pay for the friends. When my parents are over, I like to treat them to a good dinner. So if I'm willing to do that for friends and for parents, I will probably like to do that for my wife and for my kids. The only thing is, are they going to be thankful about it? That's another question for another day. But in reality, I think most men feel pride in taking care of everybody around them. And if they don't, they are going to feel some type of way. So I actually would be willing to do everything. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay with carrying the load. As long as somebody puts the batteries on my back and I understand that I'm like they are proudful of, not proudful, that they are grateful for what I do, I'm willing to carry the load. I don't have a problem with it.
Indeed. Just a quick question. I don't know. I want to ask the chat. I want to get y'all involved real quick because you brought up something. This is interesting. If you invite 5 of your wife's friends out for her birthday dinner, or in fact, let's say, 5 to 10. Like, hey, I'm having an event. Would you like to come? And just a dinner, intimate dinner for her at her favorite restaurant. And of course, you got to let her best friends know. Should the man pay for that for everybody that's coming?
That's a tricky question.
Wait, repeat that scenario again. Wait, what?
If you're inviting them out for your wife's birthday party, yeah, you should pay. If you're inviting them out, like, hey, I'm throwing a party for my wife. I want you guys to come on and celebrate with her. Yeah, I think you should pay.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, you should pay.
Mike,
I started something. Callie, you said he should not pay.
No.
This is interesting. Okay. Who else want to get in on this?
I said you should pay. I think you should pay.
Yeah, I know. I heard that one.
Wait. This is her birthday, you said?
Her birthday. You invited out 5 of her friends to a restaurant. They can order. They order in fact, anything they want to. And then they because y'all saw that clip. It was just girls though. She was like, I'm the birthday girl. You should pay for my food. So that's why I said that.
Nah, hey, though, True Table. Wait. True Table said something really good. Yo, he should have it catered in and set a menu. That's like the best thing to do. Have it catered, and then that way you don't even have to worry about paying for people individually.
I tell you what, Mike. Even if he has the intentions on paying for everybody, he should not let it be known. Everybody should think that they're paying for themselves, so they move how they normally move. And then at the end of that joint, if he want to make a boss move and say, "Let me see that. I got it."
That's
then
nice.
He should do it. Then he should do it that way.
That's nice.
Salute. I like that.
I like that.
King. I like that, King Spark.
Yeah,
but
they will run the checkup on your.
That's smart, yeah, because they will try to run the checkup.
Exactly.
That's lack of etiquette, to be honest. Like if you're inviting people to something that you're going together, you should tell them if they should bring money or not. That's usually what we do here on my country. We say, hey, we have a party, we're going to a dinner, like I did reservations on the restaurant. You have to pay $50 each, or not, or the cap for your consumption is $30. Anything above that, you guys pay. If you want to come. If you don't want to come, don't come. But it's kind of strange to say. One second. It's kind of strange. It's kind of strange to say. It's, for example, a wedding or whatever. You are informing the guest what he has to bring, like if he has to contribute to something or not. You are not going to say just, hey, come in, and then when he's all the party, hey, where is my $150 that I need for? Come on, man. Like,
but look, as a King Spark, as a businessman, you can write you can write that off. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother thing. As a businessman, it's a business thing, and you just write the whole thing off, and it didn't matter anyway.
But that's like, because a lot of these people, like, they like free dinners, they don't go there for the celebration. So just establish the boundaries on before the meeting. If they want to come, they come. If they don't want to come, they don't come. It is what it is.
But Fatty, what I would say to that is, first of all, I don't know how y'all was raised, right? But my mother's from Guyana, South America, right? And she was on some stuff like, you don't leave a house without no money. Okay, you don't get your grown ass dress.
Thank you.
You don't get your grown ass dress.
No doubt,
Go to sit down any goddamn where
without
if
no
you ain't
paper.
got no money in your pocket.
That's real.
You pass on the whole event.
That's right, King Spark.
Right.
No doubt about it.
And that's what I was getting ready to go with it.
100.
Like I ain't never went like if you can't you're invited to come, but if you can't afford to come, then you just can't come.
Yeah, no doubt. That's how I was raised too. Don't go nowhere without no money.
But this shows that this shows Kelly is married. Are you dating lately? Have you been dating?
Me?
Yes.
No, I got my ladies.
Exactly. Because
I got my ladies.
One thing that you guys are not understanding about these new 2023 women, they go on 70 dates per month with different guys and they don't pay for shit. Like most probably they're going to bring their wallet, but their shit is going to be closed. Like if you guys were dating, this woman is not the woman that you're dating 20 years, 15 years. 10 years ago. They will go on multiple dates. They will keep their wallet, or they will do the fake. Oh, you want me to play like with the alligator arm?
Yeah, but see, that has not changed.
That's different. Yeah, that's always
Fatty,
been like
it was
that.
like that 20
That
years
always
ago
been
too.
like that. Yeah, that's
It's
always been
always
like that.
been like that. That
Yeah,
ain't
but
changed at all.
In America, yeah,
but
that's
that's
always
the
been
thing.
like that.
If you are going to wait for her to bring her off, most of the times either you're not going to see her again, or you're going to be stranded with the bill, because this woman been freeloading a lot.
No, see,
Yeah.
that's the difference. You're talking about a date, a one-on-one date versus inviting your whole crew.
Yeah, but
That's totally different.
And also,
Callie,
Fatty,
do you
too.
know?
Also, Fatty, listen to this real quick, Mike, real quick. Also, this is like the buffet syndrome. You can't tell no people that they can come on and eat all they want and drink all they want.
Right.
Everybody's going to go in excess. That's when the
Mike.
glutton comes
Yeah,
out.
no
You
doubt.
got to
No
keep
doubt.
them honest.
Let me tell you what I
No doubt.
let me tell you what I did for my birthday. For my 27th birthday, we rented out the VIP at the Velvet Room, right? You the booth costs, it was about $500. It's $100 to hold the booth, and you got a $400 drink tab, right? Well, instead of just ordering bottles, because they're more expensive, and everybody can go on ahead and drink out of the same bottle, I was like, okay, so you take drink orders from me and this other person right here. Other than that, everybody else buying their own drinks. You already got your way in under the VIP. We got like 25 bracelets or whatever like that. Everybody get their own drinks. It worked the same way. When you invite somebody out for your birthday or whatever like that, and it's a birthday dinner, if you want some food, you gonna have to pay for your own plate. It's really not that serious.
Cali Bev,
The expectation
No,
is
I'm like,
the expectation is retarded to me.
Cali Bev is
Cali,
cheap.
The
You better
are a
get
frugal,
some
woman.
hors d'oeuvres or
frugal
finger
is
food or
real.
something.
Callie, you are a woman.
They
She's
only
cheap.
save the cheap dagger for men.
She's
It only
cheap.
Yeah, but
they like to be
she's a
called
woman. It's
frugal.
different.
Nah,
Whenever you
men are
know,
frugal. Women are
Yeah,
cheap.
she's a woman. Like woman right now, girlfriends. When I say girlfriend, not girlfriend, the woman that you are having sex with or dating. Your girlfriend is looking for you if you will go on a date with, not on a date, but if you go have dinner with her, or if you go to the movies with her. Most of these women are waiting for you to say, "Okay, I got it. I'm a gentleman."
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So that's the thing. Being a woman, you can establish all the rules when you come with money. I don't want to pay for half. I don't want to pay for nothing. Some man is going to come and he's going to pay for the rest. But when it comes to you being a man, if you don't have money, or if you want to pay half of the dinner, half of the movies, half of everything, you are going to be stranded by day 10, because most of these women are dating without wanting, not dating, going
But
out on
Fatty,
events and things without wanting to
this
pay.
is
Well, why are
hold on
you
real quick,
expecting
Mike. This
her
is a
to
little
pay
different.
half
Wait,
and you
hold on,
taking her
Cali
on a
Bev.
date?
Cali Bev, this is not a date. What Trigger
It's
Mike
not a
said.
date. It's
Wait,
a
hold
event.
on. What Trigger Mike said was that his wife he wanted to have a party for his wife, and then he wanted to invite like 5 of her best friends. So it's a little different scenario than just a date. So so that's a whole different scenario. But my thing is, if you invite people to go somewhere, then you definitely should have the mindset of you're taking care of everything. But I like what King Spark said as far as not really letting them know that you're going to take care of everything so they don't overblow the budget. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, I think you definitely should pay.
Decline. So, that you let them do that. Your card say decline.
So the only way I've moved, not in a birthday scenario, right? But how I used to do it is when I did have a lot of money from one of my old jobs in the previous life of dating in my 20 somethings, is that I used to go up to a group of girls, like at least like it can be 4, 5, 6, maybe up to 5 though. And I would like move to one, and then I'd talk to the group, and then I'd be like, "All right, well, it looks like y'all need some shots. Whose birthday is it? Whose birthday was it? It's usually some girl's birthday or anniversary or something to celebrate." So I would wind up like buying like the group, one shot. I'd be able to like pick off 1 or 2, get the number, But yeah, they do kind of like have this mentality of like a herd. Like women have a more herd mentality. When a man can go out by himself, like women usually go out together with their girls. So they kind of come in packs. So you gotta have enough confidence in gaming to go to a group, because because if one don't like you, then all of a sudden none of them like you. So hey.
So
EB,
this is really
go
weird. And I think this might be indicative of the type of woman I've always liked. I've always had women that wanted to take me out and pay. So I don't think I've ever liked gold diggers, man. I don't think I've ever liked them because the woman be like, "You're always doing so much. You're always so gentlemanly. I'm taking you out." And when I say you out, don't bring your wallet type shit. I'll be like, "Oh, okay, well, shit. All right, cool."
What Trigger Mike?
My wife
After that,
did
are you
that.
pressured? Are you pressured? Do you feel pressured to eat the box, or you just gonna take a
I'm
free
dead.
meal and get out
I'm
of there?
dead,
What you?
fam. I'm
What you?
dead. You gotta eat the box
What
for a
you?
meal. You gotta eat the box to get a box.
Oh, and the
No,
women are
sir.
laughing.
No, sir. No, sir.
The women are laughing at that. That's funny as hell. That's funny.
Because if you don't, she's gonna be looking at that window with that look on her face. You know, what's wrong, honey? Nothing.
All you gotta do is say
It'll be one of
turnabout
them.
is fair play. That's all. Turnabout is fair play. If I pay, whatever.
Nah, son. That's a gigolo. We ain't gigoloing around here. You know what I'm
I'm just
talking
saying. I'm just saying it's a fine line, though. You know,
Yeah,
I
it
think I
is.
think
I
I think
know.
it's a fine line because if a woman take you out, right? She done took you out. You don't have to keep your wallet. You know, do you
Nah.
feel
Yeah.
pressured as a man to handle
No.
your
To
I don't
put
business?
know.
out? No,
I don't know about
You
pressure,
know
but
what?
it would be a nice return on the investment. How about that? Have her scream like Wakanda forever or something. You
So,
know,
so, so
lay
Mike,
it down one good time.
I think it would
so
be
Mike,
commendable.
so Mike,
Hold
let
on,
me, let
hold on.
me,
Who? Yeah, go ahead.
no, I just let me ask you: if I invite you and I said, "Hey, bring your 5 friends, male friends," are they expecting me to pay the bill? No, right?
Uh-uh.
That's the thing. You see, when you put woman into the mixture, the rules change.
Oh, I mean, I'm not gonna disagree with that at all.
Right,
At
right.
all.
If you, hey, Mike, 5 friends, come on, man. Like,
It to me, it's that obligatory thing. And in fact, let's say you messed around and invited all of them out, and these are all high earning women or women that work with her or something. Do you see how they all just automatically lose their dominant personality when it's time to pay the check? And I think women have that natural thing where they just looking over like,
I know you got us
ah,
right. Yeah.
yeah, like
So
look, they keep talking. They act like he didn't just say y'all ready for the check. They just be like, yeah, get
mhm.
ready.
Yo, but even Trigger Mike, tell me this. Even when your woman, like sometimes if your woman is used to you taking care of stuff and stuff like that, and then she's treating you out, and then the bill comes, she'll look at you first and she'll be like, "Oh, my bad, I forgot." You know what I'm saying? That's happened sometimes too.
Yeah.
If your woman is
Hey,
used to you taking care of everything, she'll be like, "Oh, shoot, yeah, my bad."
Oh,
hey, Trigger Mike,
I
but I
don't
ain't
I
never
don't
seen a feminist with a credit card.
I don't think it's more sexual. So I know, but my wife did it a few times, as a matter of fact. And it was just like, yo, I'm trying to put your stuff on, I'm trying to take you out. But I've been on numerous panels now with like married people. And I'm telling you, like most wives did that to where they're like, this dude energy is so gentlemanly. He's so on point with his service that I'm just going to take him out and he ain't paying for shit. I feel like most wives do that.
if
As
you
a
have
man.
Yeah, they
Mike,
do.
there's a
They
rule
do.
that you got. Like, if a woman knows you have money, she will go out of her way to pay because she doesn't want to be looked like a gold digger. But if you are broke, you better bring that fucking wallet. I'm telling you, she's not
Oh
going
no.
like.
What did King Spark say? I'm never going out the house without my damn
But
money.
you see, like
Exactly. Never leave home without it.
woman have strange rules when it comes to that. Oh, he has a lot of money. Let me offer to pay so I don't feel like he doesn't look like I am weird with for money.
All right, I'm gonna drop down so Trey can come up. Y'all keep it going, keep it respectful.
what was the
You
most
got to ask
expensive?
another question.
Oh, my
Oh
bad.
damn,
Yeah, go ahead.
oh damn, you right. Uh, we can just do this one panel style. We don't even have to go around. Damn, where's the question go? Give me a second. I
Any
want this just as a discussion. Israel, moderate for me,
Okay.
please. I'll
Okay.
let Trey come up. The question is: should women be able to use birthing children as a bargaining chip to renegotiate terms within the household? Fight.
Woo. Woo. All right. Into Black Dragon. Go ahead and say what you was gonna say though, fam.
No,
First,
I
fam.
was just gonna ask. It was an unrelated question, but it was about like in relation to the paying for expensive things like a birthday thing. I didn't know if everyone on this panel have gone out to where it's like an expensive dinner, and at minimum, what you're expecting to pay per dinner is like over $100. I don't know if anyone else has got. Yeah, Callie, you've done that.
You say that one more time, Evie?
The restaurant, like what I was saying, like when you're talking about dating and whatever, have you ever taken the girl out to where, you know, the minimum is going to be well over like $150, like an expensive, like
per
4
person?
Yeah,
Per
that's
person?
per person?
Nah,
yeah,
not per
that's what.
person.
Yeah,
Like
Not
if you
per
go to
person.
like here in DC, if you go to
yeah.
Fogo to Chow, you already know her plate's $50 minimum and my plate's $50 minimum. So just taking her on a date, I already know minimum. We already at 100 to begin with.
Nah, not Trey, but
Who?
that's not what he's asking. What he's saying, because I've done $50, but what he's saying is $150 per person type situation where it's like 150 per person.
I'm agreeing. I was just using Fogo de Chao as an example. I'm agreeing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
nah, I
I,
never
f-
done the
Yeah.
I
like
feel
50
like
$60 per person maximum.
no, I feel like I mean it just depends. Like I said, it just depends on where you at and what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody do things for different reasons. But I'm with my man. But I'm in DC too. It's funny he said that. But like any of these joints, I mean the Hamilton, Old Abbott Grill, the Smith. I mean, not to say that it's going to be 150, but you should have at least 150
Right.
to cover it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
Right.
not
Right.
saying go nowhere where it's good. Well, I know for a fact it's gonna be 150. No, but you should have at least 150 a person just to see. Like I said, it was back into how I grew up. It's like if you gotta look at the prices and all that shit, then you probably shouldn't be there.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean? You're supposed to be able to go out and be comfortable and get what you want. Now, if you can't do that, get your shit to go. I mean, there's other ways to get the food. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right. Right.
I'm
Right.
not,
Right.
I'm not saying, you know what I mean, one way or another. I'm just saying, but if you go and sit down, you sit your grown ass down at a restaurant in these days and times, you better at least have $300-400 on you.
Right.
Hey,
I,
King
I
Right.
was
Spark.
I
But
was
I guess I like the fact that I live down south because I don't have to worry about a lot of those stuff. You know, it's relative to where I guess geographically where you live in the country because a lot of
exactly.
times, you know what I'm saying, if you live in different places, way more expensive than other places. So I like the fact that I live down south because I ain't dealing with
Y'all
none of that.
y'all can look. There was a study that was done where they broke down the average date per state. They did a study on this. I think in Maryland it's like $209 per date. That's the average.
Woo!
That's the
Shit.
average. It was high in New York. It was high in California. Like obviously the states you would imagine, but they did a study on this.
Yeah, and most of the population, like, of course, is skewed too, because here in DC, most of the professional women that you're meeting, they are six figures or close to six figures women. So the way they lifestyle and everything is set up, they moving totally different. They
Did
moving
this man
totally different.
Trey just
What?
say $209 a date,
Man.
Netflix
That's
and chill
see,
only around
All
here?
day, every day. I guess that's why they do that. I guess that's why the
We
younger kids
eating
is doing that.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers in this house. That's it.
Mm,
No doubt.
I
What?
mean, once you add
I'm not
drinks,
paying
it's not hard to
209 though.
add up.
Nah,
Nah,
fam.
mm.
I'm
you know
not
what
doing.
it
I'm
is?
not
It's
gonna be
it's
able to
that
do it.
DC area. Whenever they have happy hour in Texas, you go to happy hour, you might spend $15. In
Hmm.
that DC DMV area, you still spending 100 at happy hour.
See, Mike, Sugar Mike, down south is different, man. We got it good, and we don't know it, man. It's different.
It's
Yeah.
different. All right,
When
Sugar Curls wanted to get in on this topic. Go ahead.
Sugar Curls, we can't hear you.
Sugar Curl, yeah, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Can
she's
you
not
hear
talking,
us, Sugar Curl?
I think
she's
she got
not
a
Sugar.
talking.
delay.
She's
She
not.
got a
She's
delay.
just. She's just looking into our soul. It's fine.
All right. So, anybody else want to speak on the topic that Trigger Mike said? Trigger Mike
So
was saying about
be
babies
able
and
to use birthing children as a bargaining
Yeah,
chip.
I'll go real quick. I mean, once a woman has, a kid, there's a certain amount of renegotiation that's going to happen, right? From the standpoint of the kid's going to be completely dependent on a woman, especially if she's breastfeeding and stuff like that. So some of what you expect from her is going to kind of decrease for a minute or for a few minutes until the baby's a little bit more self-sufficient, and if she's milking, and you got bottles, you can get up and, maybe feed the with the ready-made bottles and stuff. But the kid's gonna have like a good year, a year and a half of where it's gonna dominate, especially if he's on the breast. You ain't sucking on them things for a little while. And so there's a little, hey, listen, I don't know about the milk, right? But anyhow, the point I'm just trying to say is there's a little bit of negotiation. Then I think it's up to the man to bring the relationship back on point when the kid's a little bit more like if she wants to turn off sex and all that kind of stuff, unless there's some kind of medical condition, that's just not on the table, right? Well, so you give it a little bit of reasonable amount of time, and then you back at it. And then one thing I do tell guys that as soon as your woman says, my first priority is my kids, you got to check her right there.
Yeah, you got to reel that in.
They're your kids, they're our kids, and you can't let them keep saying that narrative because they will do that shit.
Right. The first priority need to be the marriage first, and then everything else afterwards.
So that's little trigger points, but that's it. That's all I have.
Hey, True Table, I know you want to get in here. What's up, fam? What's good with you?
Nothing much, family. Just enjoying you guys talking about this life. I'm sometimes shocked on how everybody interacts with this whole dating situation, especially the fatty. I'm like, what kind of girls is this dude entertaining?
Hey, bro, do you have a BMW? Are you driving a BMW?
I have a Benz.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's a Benz.
I see.
Yeah. But no,
only sex dolls, bro. Only sex dolls. African American sex dolls are my forte.
You said only sex sells?
No, sex dolls. Hey, yo, but Truth Table, Fatty live in a whole nother country, though. Fatty live in a whole nother country, so we can't really hold him to the standard of the country that we live in. He live in a total different place than we do.
No, that's fair, but I think, so I've been all over, a little over 22 countries. I actually have better experiences abroad than in America, to be honest with you. So I don't know where he has lived in the world, but me personally, even when I hear this, my standards shifted when I went overseas. Like I had lower standards being from America. When I went overseas, I came back with higher standards because I was overseas.
So what is the part that you disagree or you find it wild or what is that part about dating that you need to pinpoint what I said, like any part?
Only the fact that you were saying that you kind of give this energy, and I could be wrong, it's just the way I'm interpreting it, that women are controlling the overall narrative. Like you're interacting with them. I think so years ago I had a guy who told me this, and I still live by it to this day. He said, you don't date women, you do stuff for your life and you invite them along the way. So you should just be living. Like you should just do things. And if you want female attention or you want female companionship, then you find a woman you want to spend time with. You be like, hey, I'm gonna go to the Dodger game or I'm going to the Lakers. You want to come? She's a part of your world. You're not creating it to date her in a sense of like, oh, I'm trying to impress her. And I think overwhelmingly a lot of dudes do that. So if you're already doing it, she's just gonna experience it. So if she wants to contribute financially, great. If she doesn't, great. It shouldn't be this measure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So where do we disagree?
Just from the standpoint that you're saying you can't expect women to do this, you can't expect women to do that. And I was
didn't you say make her a part of your world? If I'm going to watch the Lakers, should I expect her to pay $200 for a Lakers ticket?
Well, I think also though, with what I'm saying is that when you say you can't expect, I'm not expecting her to do it, but I've experienced to what Trigger Mike said. It's something about when you're just living and doing, they seem to want to just assist. I've never met a woman that doesn't want to bring anything. They come over to the house, if they see I don't got a pack of water, the next time they come, they're bringing that stuff. If I ran out of, hand sanitizer, it's strange. So what I'm saying
they're coming and cleaning, they're coming and cooking, they're coming and bringing gifts and stuff for the house to make it, because they want to be a part of what you're doing ultimately.
Absolutely.
That's really what it is.
This is when flexing goes wrong, right? Where do we disagree? For example, I'm European.
I don't think y'all disagree.
No, one second. I watch more than 20 Lakers games. More than 20 Lakers games. Every time I go there, either I go with a friend or I go with a woman. I'm not expecting them to pay because I go to their city, I invite them, and we go and watch the game. Totally fine. Where do we don't disagree in nothing. Actually, if me and Israel, if Israel is in Lisbon, I'll say, hey, let me take you to dinner, and I'm gladly paying for it. But for most women, like you can't have expectations in what they're going to contribute because women, unfortunately, a lot of times, as soon as you invite them, what they say? The person who invites has to pay. And you know who invites all the time? The man. So I'm not expecting nothing. She controls actually that. Because I'm in control of my wallet.
Well,
so where do we disagree?
Maybe we're not disagreeing. I guess I'm speaking to the point that I'm hearing things that sound contrary to what I've lived myself, you know, and I think some of it is classification, levels of status. Our community overwhelmingly lives a lot different than other communities. That's just what it is, and that's okay, but it's the truth. There's people I've been out with that I didn't even know the bill was covered. Like, I'm sitting there waiting, an hour to went by, the plate's been picked up, and we're just socializing. And then I'm like, okay, well, where's the bill? They took care of it. These were females. So it depends on who you're interacting with. I think that's overwhelmingly our communities sometimes don't have enough life experiences. We tend to stay very close-knitted in very simple things, and that's okay. But it's hard to speak to a broad perspective when you only have done very little.
Yeah, so, but that depends on but that depends on the quality of the woman. Some women are a lot of women, let's be honest, are freeloaders. Oh, you invite me to a dinner? Oh, free meal, dope. Like most of them, like they don't have like. Let me actually tell you this. If I would tell you that right now, not because the woman that I'm inviting are women that I knew way before, I have years of it. But if right now I go on a date with a woman, a Portuguese woman, she will reply me with the thank you when she closed the door at the end of the date, and she will send me a message when I get home. This is the level of gratefulness. I don't know if the word exists.
Gratitude. Gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude that they show for men usually. It's not, I will cook for you the next day to compensate you for taking care of me today. It's not, let me buy you some gummies or some candy so you can eat on the car while you're driving back home. Like, there's no level of nothing.
Can I say this real quick? Wait, can I say this real quick? Yo, the thing about it, Fatty, is this, like, I think you said it a little bit earlier, and it is true. When you have a certain lifestyle, right, and women want to be a part, and this is what True is kind of alluding to, women want to be a part of that lifestyle because it's an experience being with you. They are going to try their best to incorporate themselves in that lifestyle. So they understand by certain things that you wear, certain things that you say, how you carry yourself, how you live, that you have a certain standard. And so they're going to come and they're going to try to bring things to enhance whatever you have going on. I mean, that's kind of how it is in our community. So they'll do different things to make themselves useful or to make themselves set apart to try to, incorporate themselves into your situation.
She's trying to validate herself to you, but right now it's 50-50. If a woman, for example, Israel, if a woman goes to your house and she sees 5 cars parked out in front of the house, right? She's going to do 2 things. Either she's going to say, man, I really want to be on this man's life, so let me prove myself to him that I'm worth it, and now she's willing to contribute. Like I said to Trigger Mike, if they know you have money, a lot of times they are willing to pay because they don't want to be seen as gold diggers and they want them to take you seriously. That's the first option. The second option, man, this guy has so much money. $20 of my money is not going to make a difference, so I'm not going to let him pay.
That's the part that
that happens a lot.
That's the part.
When I say that happens a lot, that happens so much that it's kind of you can even control it. You just
Fatty, you leaving out some context though.
Yeah, I think
the context is, what do you say during, my bad, Trey, not being cut you off, but I hear him talking about he leaving out context, but what do you say once y'all sit down to eat? Like, what are you saying? Because
we are eating.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, are you making the date interesting? Are you making her laugh? Is she falling for you? Or y'all, like, what are you really saying? Because it sounds like
I don't have time. I know.
No, it just sounds like you're kind of like, you driving your BMW, you kind of coming off as, I got that bag, and then you sit down, so you see I still got that bag, and then y'all eat, and then you like, well, what you gonna do? Oh, you ain't gonna do nothing? All right, then cool. Like, that's how much it's like. That's what it sounds like.
I don't have,
because
how I interpreted it, King Spark. That's all. Like, what?
How you engage with the woman is also gonna determine the type of gratitude and what happens after the restaurant. right? Because if you're having a good date per se, let's say you're having a good date, a woman might say, hey, I know a good place where we could go listen to some music, or I know a nice little bar or something like that. You see what I'm saying?
Or she'll want to come back to your place or invite
or
you to
what,
her
or
place.
whatever.
And all of a sudden,
I know if I'm having a good time, I ain't gonna want to go home. I'm gonna go do something else.
And all of a sudden, instead of her having to go up to work the next morning, she can find a reason to call in. She ain't trying to go to work.
Right.
If you got it on the first date, it can happen on a first date. It can be one of those things where you just the dinner's over, the movie's over, everything's closed, but you neither or one of y'all are ready to go home. It can go down like that.
Public service announcement. You just got
wait. So you are saying that I have to have a conversation and make it interesting?
You have no idea how interesting a conversation can go.
And I have to make her panties wet and all. Like, oh, really? Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Ain't nobody say nothing about panties wet. You can have a good time without somebody's panties having to be wet.
Right. I'm a little bit confused.
Where are you meeting these women?
He already has to do that.
I have no idea.
He doesn't get the date without already having to do that to some level.
I know he's being facetious.
Have you ever had a conversation with a woman at all? Anything?
Wow.
No, Fatty being sarcastic.
No, because I understand where he's going. Because I've had those dates. I've had those dates where you have a conversation and it's all cordial. Nothing happens. She says goodnight. You say goodnight. And you both probably kept it moving. But if it's happening more often and you're not getting that second date or that callback or that how are you doing text, let's go here text, then something just fell flat. It doesn't always equal out to the result or outcome that you want. Yeah. But the point is, I think that what's missing is the level of effort you put in, because women can pick that up. They'll know how interested you are in them when you take that conversation, and suddenly sometimes you can lead them into a conversation you want to have.
But that's kept, because in reality, women show you more desire when you don't show interest at all. She might talk for 1 hour.
I don't see that at all. Wow.
He's not wrong.
That ain't no guarantee. That's a literal coin toss.
He's not.
That's a literal coin toss. She either trying to compete to see if he try to win your attention over because you're not paying her any, or she gonna think you an asshole. So it's a literal coin toss.
And a woman like asshole.
Gamble.
That's exactly the point.
No.
This is no.
Wait.
That's not nothing across.
This is what he's talking about. This is what he's talking about. He's not talking about.
Before you guys, let me tell you what
let
I
him
do.
finish. Let him finish.
Yeah, because my sex doll is always on the mood, right? So this is what I do to her. She talks for
Come on,
15
Fatty.
minutes.
You gotta talk straight up, though. Don't troll.
15 minutes. She talks for 15 minutes, and I'm like, really? Oh my God! Oh, that's really interesting. Oh, really? Oh, bet. Oh, words. And on the end of the day, she said, "Man, Fatty's great, bro. She carries a really good conversation. That's how all women work." Why the fuck are you guys trying to give me game about the fucking day? Do you think I don't have? I have 2 arms. Like,
that's not game, Fatty.
Do you think I'm slow or something?
That's
like
not game, Fatty.
Okay, Fatty. What type of women are you attracting to yourself? I have to wonder.
Nope. Don't do that. Don't pull the type of women thing. That's BS. It's BS.
That's fine. I am attracted to shitty women with big ass and wet vagina.
I'm just asking because it seems like just about every conversation you have regarding a woman is negative. And I understand if you win some things.
How is that negative? I'm literally lowering my standards to the worst possible. Let me say a woman that
you're lowering your standards? Why?
No, I'm not low. I have no standards for women because I don't care. Like, I get what I get and I don't care. The standards that I want is she willing to go on if she's willing to embark on a trip, if she's willing to go on an adventure, is she fun, and does she have a body that I like, so I can pontificate at the end?
The question is yes. The question you could do
what at the end? Wait. I want to hear what he's going to do at the end. What are you doing at the end?
I'm going to introduce her to my sex dolls, and we're going to do a threesome.
Exactly.
The answer is no. The answer is no. Before all that, I can say the answer is yes. The question is it with you? Does she want to do all that stuff with travel and stuff?
I told you.
Fatty? That's the question. And you got to convince her during a dinner date, during dancing, during whatever game you think you got. Pull it out of your ass, your black hat, wherever you got to pull it out from. Pull it out of a YouTube video or for dummies. I don't care. If you want her to do all that stuff with you, you got to come up with your game and convince her that's what she wants to do.
Fatty's game is his BMW.
I don't have a BMW. I don't even
That's
have a
his
car.
game.
I don't
That's
have
his
a car.
game.
I don't have a car.
You sold your BMW?
Yeah, 4 months ago. I'm
so how do you get around? How do you get around in your country, man? Uber?
Yeah.
Really? They got Uber like that?
Jesus Christ, man.
Yo,
I don't know. I mean, Europe. It's Europe. I don't know.
Oh, man.
What? I don't know.
Like he in a country somewhere, like churning butter or something. Like,
what you ride a bike? You ride a bike?
No. I have a horse in my stable.
A rope.
All right, knights. Got knights in his backyard training.
No, Portugal has been one of the most developed countries.
Yeah, when's that joust? When's the next joust, Fatty? When's the next joust?
You guys are tripping, bro. Hey, wait a second. I have to take my horse out the USP. Like, come on, man.
All right, let's get the final thoughts. 30 seconds on everybody. We start with Israel. Give some people. I'm gonna drop down so Pokemon can come back up. All right, 30 seconds. What should people unlearn about this whole 50-50 narrative? Started going around.
All right. People should unlearn that it's a problem to be 50-50 in the sense of working together. People should unlearn that they can't work together, that Black people don't work together, that men have to be against women and women have to be against men. People should unlearn that it's all about self and it's all about self-interest. So I think they should learn how to be more of a team, more to work together, more to accomplish a common goal. All right, Callie Beth.
People need to learn that 50-50 doesn't mean it's going to be split evenly across all boards. Basically, your teammate. Your teammate helps out, you help out. That's 50-50. It's not, everything's not going to, the housework's not going to be split directly down the middle. The financials are not going to be split directly down the middle. It's not a tit for tat thing. It's just people doing what they got to do to accomplish the goal and make sure that your house runs efficiently on a day to day.
All right, Fatty.
Thank you for having me. It was a learning experience. I learned a lot today. And I think I'm ready to be married. Thank you very much, guys. you really changed my mind today. I was hopeless. I was on a very bad place, but now that I know I have to talk with the person during the date and make it interesting, now I got it. I am very confident from now on. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys.
You're welcome for all that, Fatty. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Anytime, brother Fatty. Anytime.
God bless.
All right, Enter Black Dragon.
First of all, you're welcome, and second of all, I hope he comes back up sometime because I'll put him on some one-liners and all that. But I think that what people should unlearn about 50-50, first of all, you need to learn how to do math, because me having a house, car, job, income, insurance, all kind of stuff is not 50%. It's more like 70 to 80, or maybe even 90 in some cases. So people need to really learn how to do math and go back to math class on that.
Sure. What do people need to unlearn about this whole 50-50 narrative?
Okay, thank you again for having me in this panel. And I will reiterate what I said in the beginning. It's not about being 50-50. It's about being 100-100. There's give and take amongst all parties involved. There are priorities that need to be set as to which way the unit is going to go. So with that being said, there needs to be communication. There needs to be standards set and kept. And with that, I believe that any relationship can be successful.
Indeed. Mr. Rich.
Yeah, we got to unlearn that, a relationship and a marriage is not a competition. You do what it takes to move forward. You know, so you give and take. Sometimes you give a little more, sometimes you give a little less, depending on the circumstance. It's all, if as long as you're moving in the same direction, then everything should be cool. And of course, a lot of that is, you know, facilitated through conversation. That's it.
King Spark.
Yes, sir. I think they need to realize that your 50 is not a vote. It is just a right in the suggestion box. That's all it is. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? You don't get a whole vote now because you done did what normal people fucking do, is contribute. You know what I'm saying? And all things will be considered, but contribute.
Trey.
Yeah, well, first I want to address something. For those of you who have businesses, consult a tax strategist. Everything is not a tax write-off. And in order for you to write something off on your taxes, you have to be in the pursuit of income. A lot of y'all are getting ready to get arrested and fined when they hire these $85,000 new IRS agents because you don't know what you're doing. You cannot write off a birthday party unless it is in the pursuit of income. I'm just gonna leave it out there for y'all. Okay? For me, one of the
Where can
things
you
that
find a good tax strategist at?
I don't know, but I use Carlton Dennis. He's in Los Angeles.
Okay.
He actually has a YouTube channel. You can actually go look him up. He's brilliant.
I was like, yeah, good accountant. Just to get a good accountant that will
Yeah, I
tell
mean,
you.
if you have a business, you should have a tax strategist. You should be asking how can I lower my taxes? You should be. And a tax strategist and a tax preparer are two different things.
Of course.
Anyway, but for me, one of the things I think we have to unlearn this independence notion. And we have to get back to being interdependent. It's one of the words that my grandmother used growing up, is that she was dependent on her husband and he was dependent on her, and that's why their marriage worked until he passed away. Right? We got to get back to being interdependent. There's nothing wrong with you as a man saying, look, I need my lady for this. You know, I need her for this. This is what she does well, and that's why she's on the team. That's why she's here, because she does X, Y, and Z very, very well, and that's why she's here. For me, I want to be with a woman that when I look at her, I go, if she's not here, I'm not operating at my optimum standard. I'm not operating at a level that I could be operating if she's not here, because she does so many things in my life to make it easy for me, right? So that's one thing. We got to get rid of this independent notion. To me, it's crazy.
Yep. True Table. What do people need to unlearn about 50-50?
Well, thanks for having me.
Indeed.
I just think that people need to be willing to put forth their best, whatever their best looks like, you know, and that's just a lot of self-awareness, a lot of, figuring out where you lie in life, like Trey was saying moments ago, being honest, at what it is that you're looking to gain from the relationship. It really shouldn't be a competition. I think the gentleman said it earlier as well. If you're going to be in a relationship, you should just be willing to bring your best self. Trying to divide things is just not a fair approach, and you're going in defensive already, so it's not going to work. That's all I have on it.
All right, Poke Man.
Yo, 50-50 is a lie. It's all about perception. And what everybody else said was true. We are all just putting something together to make something whole. If I invite 5 of her best friends to come out to get together or gathering, which we've done a few times, my wife might argue that I'm not paying for everybody. But if I got the money, I'm probably gonna do it behind her back. So we all just gonna do what we need to do and learn as we need to learn. And we understand that there are stages in life. And if you can get past that struggle and make it to that next level, and we together, then you earn that spot, and then we need to go together. That's all I gotta say on it.
All right, my man. Let me get to these super chats. I think a lot of people had a lot of things to say, especially my man Granville. $2. Whole panel got bad knees. I don't even want to say F you, but you know how I feel. Whole panel used to send letters by mail to talk. Damn. Damn, that hurt. You say we
He
pen
keeps
pals? Is
going.
that what
He
you call
keeps
them, pen
going. He
pals?
keeps going.
Whole
He
panel
said we
squint
old
ass.
as
Can you
F.
hear me? Whole panel thought Walkmans was that new age ish.
What?
Whole panel remember when the radio had 2 channels on and off.
These old jokes is getting old, Granville.
Yo, whole panel remember Rumble in the Jungle. That was Ali fight. Was that Ali?
Yeah. Frazier,
Thriller
Ali.
Manila. Yeah. That's way before our time, though. Trigger Mike.
That is way before our time.
Isley Brothers was young kids' music. Damn, they old.
Isley Brothers.
Whole panel remember watching Soul Train, thinking these young people ain't got no moves.
How come I think he's talking about me?
Yeah, he's only talking about you, Mr. Rich. He's only talking about you. You're the only one that can relate to anything that he said.
Whole panel looked like they ready for a nap. I damn sure am.
Yeah, I could use a good nap though. He got me there. I could use a good nap.
Panel had platform shoes with goldfish in them.
It's before our time, young man. It's before our time.
Rucker said, my wife has married friends. Us men take turns in covering the tab for their brunch or lunchtime, which is 4 to 5 months. Every 4 to 5 months they gather, or women don't need to be worried about no tab. Go have fun. Hey, I definitely agree. When it's married men around, the women ain't paying for shit. That's 100%. Like, I go out with in husbands groups all the time. We'll talk about it amongst ourselves. And look, they'll be looking like, look at our men. Look at our men. That's a given. Husbands don't even let that happen when we with our wives, for sure. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody coming on today.
Thank you,
I'll
man.
see y'all tomorrow. All right, everybody. Today's topic was real. The truth about 50-50 relationships. I want to thank the panel for coming on. Everybody gave excellent feedback on what it means to be 50-50. What I want everybody to do is hit that like button down there. We got 249 people or 249 likes. Let's get that up to 200 or 300 if we can. All right. What I also want you to do is go to the Lapeef Experience channel, subscribe to that channel, and hit the bell for notifications. We have awesome stuff going on there. If you are ready for tonight we have the big show. All right. The Lapeef Let's Talk show is tonight. Okay. So look for that. The Lapeef Let's Talk show is tonight. Make sure you tune in for that. What I want y'all to do is help me out. I'm trying to get to 1,000. I'm trying to get to 1,000 on my own channel. Go right now if you're not a subscriber. I also got a good show coming up about the stigma about guns in the Black community. If you want to be a part of that, if you want to know about that discussion, go to my channel, Trigger Mike Show. Type that into the search box on YouTube, Trigger Mike Show. Subscribe to my channel. Help me out. I'm trying to get to 1,000. All right. What I usually do is have shorts that'll be the topics for my show on the Lapeef Network. If you are a fan of the Trigger Mike Show, please subscribe to the Lapeef Network. Hit that bell for notifications. We had another banger today, the truth about 50-50 relationships. Remember, it's not 50-50. Both people need to be hustle. It's hustle meet hustle. Black community got a lot of work to do. All right. Nobody should be talking about staying home unless your husband requests that from you. The person or the family who hustles the most, your women will get to rest. Your women will get to sit down at some point. Please make sure you understand that everybody got to be hustling out here. Make a better life for your children. It's not about you. It's not about your rest. All right. We out here trying to build legacy. Do not talk about generational wealth if you yourself want to sit your ass down at home, man or woman. All right. We had another banger for y'all today. I appreciate that. I'm out. See y'all tomorrow.